Chapter 29:12. Young Master Destiny. Although the unfettered 7 demons escaped from the northern continent, they can't run away. As long as they are still on the Xiojin continent, we don't have to worry about not being able to kill them. The most important thing now is to publicize the crimes of these 7 demons and put a bounty on their heads, with all the cultivators on the continent as our eyes. So what if they escape to the ends of the earth? In the end, they will still be trapped and unable to escape. Ning-Su slowly closed his eyes. His hand holding the demon-slaying sword slowly stopped trembling. When he opened his eyes again, they were no longer as crazed as before. His face was as cold as ice, his expression calm and indifferent. It was as if he had returned to the young Master Destiny before he met Mu Yin. Then I'll have to trouble Sect Master Jing to spread the name of young Master Destiny Ning-Su to the world. Unfettered Sect's Yun Ruhan has used crafty tricks and defied the laws of nature. She has possessed the body of another to be reborn. She is an unpardonable evil cultivator and should be punished. Unfettered Sects Qin Jiu, Chu Moli, Lung Yumao, Ling Yuxing, and Lan Liu of the Unfettered Sect are helping the wicked and harboring the evil. They should be punished. Unfettered Sects Jun Mu Yin manipulated the demonic energy of the uncleansed abyss, manipulated the corpse puppets, and protected the evil. Heaven and earth cannot tolerate such actions. Punish. First host, wake up. Mu Yin opened her eyes absent-mindedly and only realized she was in the Heavenlight ruins when she heard a familiar voice. Little Tian? Mu Yin touched her head and forced herself to stand up. Seeing her surroundings clearly, she was stunned. Dreamy Cloud Lake? Isn't this Dreamy Cloud Lake? Little Tian, why am I here? As soon as she finished speaking, a handsome youth appeared in front of her. He was wearing strange clothes and had clean and refreshing short hair. Seeing Mu Yin look over, he immediately jumped into her arms happily. First host, Little Tian missed you. Since his master was not here, he could finally transform into his true form and act spoiled to the first host. Hee. Mu Yin rubs his soft and furry head, and then asks the same question again. I also don't know why. Little Tian was also confused. Master suddenly sent me a message with his divine sense, saying that the core authority of the Dreamy Cloud Swampland will be temporarily given to you. Your master? Mayan's eyebrows jump. Wasn't Xiaoyan's master the mysterious man who could trigger the 3 lives, 1 heart seal? There was a high chance that he was her fiancé. But why did he open up the Dreamy Cloud Swampland him? Lil Tian shook his head. I've also asked Master, but after Master opened the Dreamy Cloud Swampland's authority, he completely disappeared. I can't contact Little Tian no matter how hard I try. Mu Yin frowns. He had a bad feeling about this. All right, first host, Little Tian forcefully dragged you into the Tianguang ruins because he has something to tell you. Lil Tian seemed to have suddenly thought of something and said anxiously. Mayan stares blankly. What is it? Lil Tian puffed up his cheeks and said indignantly. Someone in the Tianguang ruins has released news that is unfavorable to the first host. Unfavorable news? Lil Tian nodded, his fair and slender fingers tapping on the table in the middle of the Dreamy Cloud Swampland. Rays of light actually flashed on the table. Immediately after, a scene appeared before Mayan's eyes. There was an announcement made through the Tianguang ruins. There was a video broadcast in the Reincarnation Square. There was a notice posted outside the doors of bustling shops. Chapter 29:13. And the contents of these announcements were almost the same. Almost all of them were talking about one thing. The unfettered 7 devils should be executed. Xiao Dian pounded the table, his face full of annoyance. It's all my fault. I was too bored in Tianguang ruins recently, so I didn't pay much attention. By the time I found out, the news had already spread throughout Tianguang ruins. Mu Yin clearly hadn't stayed in the Dreamy Cloud Lake for a long time, nor had she come into contact with the management authority of Tianguang ruins. But looking at all this, her mind inexplicably gave birth to a sense of familiarity. It was as if controlling everything in the dreamy cloud lake and managing Tianguang ruins was deeply engraved in her instinct. She reached out her hand and clicked on one of the light screens in the reincarnation square. Her divine sense moved, and the discussion of the people in the square came into her ears. No, I don't believe it. The unfettered seven devils have always been upright, and they only kill evil people. How can they be evil? Bah, what upright and upright? I think it's more like killing people like flies. There are thousands of lives in Fusang City, and they can kill them all. If they're not evil, then what are they? Thousands of lives? Really? Oh, these words were spread by the inner disciples of the Killing Luo sect. How can it be fake? Don't tell me you haven't heard of Junmayan saying, one person massacring a city? I, the jade-faced Wolf King, have traveled the world for so many years, and I have never seen such a crazy woman. I've heard about what happened in Fusang City. It can't be blamed on Great God Jun and the unfettered seven devils. I heard that many female cultivators were captured and brought to Fusang City, and it was the unfettered seven devils who rescued them. The men in Fusang City are worse than pigs and dogs. Why can't Great God Jun slaughter them? The people in the square were quarreling. Some believed in the unfettered seven devils, and some scolded them as evil. Suddenly, a voice rang out from the crowd. Look, Dr. Lu Mengguang is here. Oh my God, the Valley Master of the immortal Dr. Wei Baolin is also here. Isn't that the first assistant of the spiritual wood sect, Luo Fengting? These big shots who usually live in seclusion and have to line up to meet. Why are they all here in Tianguang ruins today, compared to those almighty beings who are famous for their battles? These doctors and auxiliary cultivators were what everyone longed to see and what they desired the most. Therefore, when they saw these people, everyone was inexplicably excited. Some people even wanted to rush up, hoping to make an appointment to see a doctor. However, Lu Mengguang and the others' expressions were extremely solemn. They pushed through the crowd and stood on the high platform of the reincarnation square. Lu Mengguang took a step forward and said in a clear voice, as everyone knows, although I'm not from the northern land, I'm a disciple of the Cleansing Joy Pavilion. All along, I've held great respect for the Cleansing Joy Pavilion. I believe that all the people in the world who have received treatment from Mulu Pavilion are like this. However, today I heard that my sect, the Cleansing Joy Pavilion, suffered an enormous humiliation. As soon as he said this, the people below asked curiously, what's going on? The Mulu Pavilion has always stood aloof from worldly affairs and is also very powerful. Who can humiliate the Mulu Pavilion? Lu Mengguang cleared his throat and said, I'm afraid you don't know that many years ago, my Cleansing Lu Pavilion's unique skill was stolen along with the divine artifact of the pavilion, the cry of the 9 heavens cranes. The Cleansing Lu Pavilion tracked it for several years, but couldn't find it no matter what. However, just a few days ago, my Cleansing Lu Pavilion finally found traces of these two things. Chapter 29:14. This person stole the inheritance and divine weapon a long time ago and practiced in secret, making a name for herself in the world. Everyone knows that Mulu Pavilion has always been aloof from worldly affairs, indifferent to fame and fortune. After discovering this person, we didn't want to make things difficult for her and only wanted to take back what belonged to Mulu Pavilion. But who would have thought that this person not only refused to return it, but even colluded with her fellow disciples to injure countless elites of Mulu Pavilion, injuring the saintess and even killing a tribulation-passing elder and saintess. The reincarnation square fell into a moment of silence, then completely exploded, killing a tribulation-passing elder. Is this a joke? Who is so ruthless? Daring to be so arrogant in the northern land. Didn't they say that even the experts on the Green Sky list don't dare to trespass in the northern land? Lu Mengguang. This person is sinister, cunning, and extremely shrewd. Our Mulu Pavilion wanted to spare her life out of goodwill, but we were fooled by her, and in the end, she escaped. But if she thinks that she can escape unscathed after offending our Mulu Pavilion and slaughtering so many innocent lives, then she is gravely mistaken. Even if we have to exhaust the entire Horton tribe, even if we have to exhaust the last follower of Mulu Pavilion, we must make this evil thief pay a painful price. Dr. Lu, who is this person? Lu Mengguang's eyes are red, his face filled with righteous indignation, and he says loudly, "This person is murderous god Monarch Mu Yin." Whoosh! Although some people have already guessed it. Hearing Lu Mengguang's answer, a storm is set off in the square. Jun Mu Yin, it's Jun Mu Yin again. Could it be that the reason she could become the most powerful assistant master of the younger generation and have such powerful fighting strength is because she stole Mu Lu Pavilion's inheritance and divine weapon? Is there need to say it? Otherwise, how could she have made such a resounding reputation at such a young age? Stealing other people's things and not returning them, and still being so arrogant. This woman is really shameless. Back in the Woodfern secret territory, didn't she wantonly steal other people's treasures? This woman's vicious heart, I have long seen through it. Lu Mengguang raises his hand and presses it down. I, Lu Mengguang, swear here today that anyone who stands on the side of Jun Mayan and the unfettered seven devils will be my, Lu Mengguang's, enemy until death. Even a fool would know the consequences of becoming the enemy of a doctor. Just as Lu Mengguang finished speaking, Luo Fengding took a step forward and said coldly, "The matriarch of the Purple Cloud Domain's Yun clan, Xin Menglan, is my close friend. 12 years ago, her only son disappeared. Who would have known that her son hadn't gone missing at all, but had been possessed by Yun Ruhan of the unfettered seven demons? My good friend, Menglan, was killed by that bastard. This enmity is irreconcilable. I swear that I'll personally kill that dog Yun Ruhan and avenge my good friend. If anyone dares to protect the unfettered seven devils, they will be going against my spiritual wood sect." Wei Baolin was next. As everyone knows, my wife is the eldest daughter of the Ning family. Now, the unfettered seven devils have invaded the northern continent and committed crimes. They even killed my wife's father, Ning Jinxiu. This kind of evil demon, everyone has the right to punish them. I, Wei, also hereby vow to be irreconcilable with the unfettered seven devils. If anyone dares to protect them, don't blame my immortal Dr. Valley for not saving them when the time comes. Every one of these three people's statements was powerful and resonant. It was as if 3 thunderbolts had been thrown into the Tianguang ruins. Chapter 29:15. When they heard that young Master Fate, the Cleansing Joy Pavilion, the Yun family, and the Ning family had teamed up to hunt them down, many were still skeptical. But when they heard Lu Mengguang and the other two's detailed descriptions, many unwittingly believed them. Didn't I say that young Master Fate, Ning Su, is an upright and selfless gentleman? Ever since he became famous, he's been killing demons and saving ordinary cultivators. If he says that the unfettered seven demons are demonic cultivators, then they must be. I didn't think that the unfettered seven demons are such deranged beasts. To think that I worship Jun Mayan so much, I must have been blind. Bah! There's also the city-toppling army, who weakly defended themselves. Great God, Jun isn't that kind of person. Don't slander him. However, their voices were too soft and weak, and were quickly suppressed by the huge sound waves. And the most arrogant and proud of them was the Liang Chun army. Serves them right. Let them slander our great God Yi. Now the tables have turned, right? Ha. One person slaughtering a city, only great God Junba. The #1 young cultivator has to be our great God Yi. Okay? Jun Mayan is nothing. Is she the Lord of 6 stars? Inherited the chaotic tower? Is she the one and only disciple of the Saint Medicine King? She's just a little girl who's still wet behind the ears, looking a bit like a fox, and daring to call herself a great god. How shameless. When the 6-star slaughtering the list had just ended, the chaotic tower didn't have much of a reputation. But as time passed, more and more people paid crystals through the Dragon Soaring Academy to enter the chaotic tower. When they discovered that their cultivation mind, and even their primordial spirits were rapidly improving. They were shocked. The Chaotic Tower was a treasure that made people crazier than the Six Stars Pagoda. And this Chaotic Tower was known by many in the Dragon Soaring Academy. It was a reward for the Lord of Six Stars, Yiliang-chun. But those who wanted to snatch the Chaotic Tower couldn't find Yiliang-chun, so they could only give up to the Liang-chun army. Yiliang-chun was their god, their faith. But in this period of time, Junmai's name kept appearing, even suppressing great God Yi. How could they endure this? All right, now that Junmai failed, they could finally hold their heads up high. In the dreamy cloud swampland, Mu Yin waved her hand to turn off the image and slightly narrowed her eyes. Little Sky clenched her fists tightly, her cheeks puffing up like white steamed buns. First host, Little Sky will throw this bunch of gossipy women out of the Tianguang ruins. In the future, if anyone dares to say anything bad about you, Little Tian will give them a lightning strike as punishment. Let's see if they still dare to say anything. Mayan smiles and shakes her head. She reaches out to pinch Xiao Tian's bulging cheeks. It's no use. Tianguang ruins is just one of the ways they spread this news. Even if you chase them out of Tianguang ruins, they would still have other ways to let the world know. Instead, it exposed our relationship. Xiao Tian, are we just going to let these bastards frame you? Mu Yin took a deep breath, and a deep weariness surged in her heart. During this period of time, she had not rested for even a moment. From the beginning to the end, he had been fighting, running, and fighting nonstop. Perhaps what made her feel even more uncomfortable and tired was she had heard about her father and mother's sad past. It was the painful and pitiful past of eldest senior brother and Xiao Qi. Or perhaps it was the break with Ning Su that made it hard for her to calm down. Chapter 29:16. She had once really regarded Ning Su as her brother, as a family member who felt like old friends at first sight. This is the first time Xiao Tian has seen Mu Yin reveal such a pale and weak expression. He can't help but be startled. Host, however, before he could ask the question, Mu Yan's body suddenly swayed and disappeared from the Tianguang ruins. First host. Little Tian looked at the empty, dreamy cloud swampland and anxiously stamped his feet. Why'd he leave? There's one more important thing I haven't told you yet. As he muttered, he slammed his hand on the table. Soon, an image appeared in midair. That was Dragon Soaring Academy. As the most prestigious academy in the entire cultivation world, this was supposed to be the most tranquil and sacred place. However, in the video, it was already a river of blood. The corpses of countless students and teachers lay in pools of blood. A huge barrier enveloped the entire Dragon Ascension Academy, allowing entry but not exit. Densely packed cultivators dressed in the military uniform of the Dingma Manor gathered around the Dragon Ascension Academy, reaping one life after another. Frowning, Xiao Tian paced back and forth anxiously in the dreamy cloud swampland. What to do? Master isn't here, and I don't have enough energy, so I can't drag the first host into the Tianguang ruins a second time. First host, you mustn't go to Dragon's Soaring Academy. In reality, Mayan opens her eyes and feels that her body is weak. He didn't feel anything in the Tianguang ruins. However, now that she was back in her fleshly body, she knew that the injuries she had sustained in the northern continent were far from healed. His dantian was empty, and his meridians felt like they were on fire. Most importantly, her head felt like it was about to explode. It was so painful that she almost moaned. Mu Yin knew that it was because she had forcefully overdrawn her spiritual energy and primordial spirit to draw the giant transmission array. However, she had no choice. It wouldn't be difficult to escape from the northern continent, and it wouldn't be difficult for him to escape with his fellow disciples. The difficult part was to bring the villagers of Yuanwu village, Lin Xiaoming's family, and the living corpses in the unclean abyss out of the northern continent. However, she had to abandon these people and watch as they lost their lives at the hands of Mu Luge. The living corpses returned to the sunless, unclean abyss. She couldn't do it either. Madam Enchantress, Madam Enchantress, you're awake? Everyone, come quickly. Fairy sister is awake. The noise in her ears makes Mu Yin knit her brows and force herself to open her eyes. He saw the concerned gazes of the villagers of Yuanwu village and the Lin family. Yin Ruhan and the others were sleeping beside her. The black fog and the living corpses obediently hid outside the rainbow cloud carpet. From time to time, a terrifying head popped out of the black fog, glanced at her, and quickly shrank back. Muyin presses her head. How long did I sleep? Great God, Jun, you've been asleep for 3 days. Lin Xiaomin wiped her with a wet handkerchief and said carefully, What do you think? Do you feel any better? Mayan nods and reaches out to take the pulse of the 6 fellow apprentices. After confirming that they are only unconscious from exhaustion, she breathes a sigh of relief. She took out a yang returning pill and gave it to each of them. In a situation where the body's spiritual energy was depleted, the effects of the yang returning pill were extremely slow. However, at this time, Mu Yan's dantian was dried up, and her sea of knowledge was empty, let alone stroking the Tian and Mo Qin to heal her injuries. Even her divine sense was barely able to enter and exit the space. Therefore, letting her fellow apprentices take the yang returning pill was better than nothing. Chapter 29:17. After feeding her the elixir, Mu Yin discovered that everyone around her was burning with anxiety, yet hesitant to speak. She couldn't help but ask, What's wrong? I'll say it. When Huanglang stepped forward and said, Miss Jun, just now about an hour ago, we met a group of cultivators. After seeing the 7-colored cloud carpet, they pointed a few times, seemingly wanting to come over, but quickly flew away. Lin Xiaomin added, In the past few days, we try to fly in remote jungles. In the meantime, we also disguised ourselves and went to the town to inquire about information, and then saw Great God Jun's order to kill you. The bounty was extremely high. I'm afraid those people. Mu Yin understood. The group of people they met would definitely go to inform and collect the bounty. It wouldn't be long before Mu Leg and Ning Su caught up. Madam Enchantress, what should we do? The world is so big. Is there no place for us anymore? It's all our fault, Fairy Doctor. If you didn't want to save us, you wouldn't have. Mu Yin pressed her head, raising her hand to signal them to stop talking. We'll go to the divine elephant city in the eastern continent of Ziyun realm. Meeting everyone's uneasy gaze, her voice was indescribably calm and certain. Don't worry, since I brought you out, I'm sure I can let you live. Her face was pale, her breath weak, and there wasn't even a bit of spiritual power in her body. Everyone on the 7-colored cloud carpet could clearly see how bad her situation was. But strangely, after she said this, everyone's heart calmed down, as if, as long as this girl said it, it would definitely come true. Divine Elephant City, the busiest and was currently filled with cultivators coming and going. Their eyes would occasionally look in the direction of Dragon Soaring Academy. Strange, Dragon Soaring Academy seems to have been closed for a long time this time. It's been almost half a month, and they still don't let people in? Yeah, and it's so strange. Even if the 3 academies had an assessment in the past, everyone was allowed to go in and watch. Could it be that something has happened to him? Some people also talked about the rumors about the Xiao Yao 7. I didn't expect them to be this kind of people. Unfortunately, this place was different from the Tianguang ruins. The Unfettered 7 could be said to have made their name in Divine Elephant City. If the Xiao Yao 7 had the most fans, it would definitely be the Azure Blue World and the Divine Elephant City. Soon, someone slammed the table and stood up, cursing loudly. Bah, shut the fuck up. I'll fucking fight whoever dares to defame the Xiao Yao 7. That's right. Don't we know who the Xiao Yao 7 masters are? And who the great god Jun is? Do you believe that I will destroy all of you if your mouths are not clean? This was said by young Master Fate Killer, Ning Su. How could it be wrong? What happened to Ning Su? Ning Su can slander my idol as a demon. Tell him to scram, okay? My Qingqing army will never betray the Jun family. By the way, I was wondering why you looked so familiar. Aren't you one of Yap's supporters? Your Liang Chun army is too fucking disgusting. Your idol hasn't done anything during this period of time, and now you're slandering our god June? How shameless. This sentence directly exploded the hornet's nest. Yi Liangchen's fans couldn't take it anymore. Chapter 29:18. 1 second remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. Keep your fucking mouth clean for me. June Mayan's own perverse actions, doing such a shameful thing. What does it have to do with our great god Yi? Pulling our great god Yi out, are you worthy? Today, you either kneel down and apologize to our great god Yi, or don't even think about leaving. Dial your mother. Before the cursing had finished, a loud rumble could be heard from the direction of Long Tongue Academy. The ground in the inn's houses shook, followed by a thick, nauseating smell of blood wafting through the air. What's wrong? What happened? The quarreling in the inn stopped all of a sudden. Everyone squeezed outside to see what was going on. When they came out, they found that almost all the cultivators in Divine Elephant City had rushed to the plaza in the center of the city. This plaza faced the main gate of the Academy's Flying Dragon City. In the past, when millions of people gathered at the Deer Cry banquet, they entered from here. However, now that gate, which was supposed to be grand and imposing, had already collapsed. Blood flowed out from the rubble. Occasionally, it was accompanied by intermittent groans of pain and insolent laughter. Outside the collapsed gate, a badly mangled figure fell to the ground, unable to get up for a long time. Immediately after, a sweet and coquettish voice came from inside. Elder Kong, I've already advised you not to struggle on your deathbed. Why don't you listen to this servant? This servant originally admired your illustrious reputation and wanted to recruit you under the Marquis's banner and then fly together with you. I didn't expect you to be so unappreciative, making this servant have no choice but to be ruthless. Seeing you in such a miserable state, this servant's heart aches terribly. Accompanying this sweet and coquettish figure, a barefoot, strangely dressed female cultivator gracefully walked out from inside. Her clothes were brightly colored, and from afar, she looked like a peacock. But these colors were not dyed in different colors on the same piece of cloth, but were pieced together by a variety of colorful cloth. Not only was the stitching not seamless, it instead split open, revealing the creamy white skin and charming curves inside. The woman's appearance couldn't be considered very beautiful, but between every frown and smile, there was an unparalleled romantic charm. Her voice seemed to be able to seep into one's heart. Many of the male cultivators present felt their legs turn to jelly the moment they saw him, and they stared blankly. However, someone soon shouted, She's Miao Yu. He was the sect master of the He sect. She's also the only female practitioner in the top 10 of the Green Sky Roll. As soon as these words came out, the male cultivators, whose hearts were beating like drums, immediately shivered and almost knelt on the ground in fright. The name of He sect's sect master, Miao Yu, could be said to be known by everyone. It was not only because her cultivation was high and her whereabouts were a mystery. It was also because she had always been unreasonable and did things her own way. Although he did not cultivate the evil devil Dao, his actions were more ruthless and treacherous than the evil devil Dao. When Miao Yu roamed the pugilistic world, he would often take a liking to handsome men or men with extraordinary bearings. It was one thing for these men to submit. If they refused, Miao Yu wouldn't force himself on them. Instead, he would just kill them. Thus, the number of young geniuses who had died at Miao Yu's hands over the past few decades could be said to be innumerable. But unfortunately, this person's cultivation was too high, and the confidants that she cultivated were all more sinister and cunning than the other. Thus, even though the elders of these young geniuses hated her to the core, they couldn't do anything to her. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 29:19. Remember LoveNet, providing you with exciting reading. But soon, These people recovered from the fear of recognizing Miao Yu. Everyone's gaze fell on the man who was on the verge of collapsing. Miao Yu had just called him Elder Kong. Everyone's eyes narrowed. Kong. Elder Kong Yuanjiu. How could this be? Kong Yuanjiu is an expert ranked 8th on the Azure Sky roll. His ranking is even higher than Miao Yu's. How could he be so badly injured? What happened in Dragon Ascension Academy? As they were discussing, a group of people filed out of Dragon Ascension Academy. The leader was a tall and skinny middle-aged man. He wore a black robe, and his entire body, hands, and neck were wrapped tightly. Only a noble and domineering face could be seen. All the cultivators in Divine Elephant City gasped at the sight of that person. The arrogant Miao Yu immediately turned around and bowed. "Greetings, Lord Marquis. It's the Dingwa Marquis, Chu Xinyan. Shill, do you want to die? How dare you call the Lord Marquis by his name? Why is the Dingwa Marquis here?" The onlookers were even more shocked and confused. But with Chu Xinyan's reputation, they didn't dare to discuss loudly. They could only whisper. Chu Xinyan walked up to Kong Yuanjiu and slowly adjusted the wrinkles on his sleeves. "Elder Kong, what do you think? Have you thought it through? If you still refuse to come to your senses, don't blame me for making the 1,000-year foundation of Dragon Ascension disappear from the cultivation continent." Kong Yuanjiu closed his eyes, hiding the humiliation and despair in them. When he opened his eyes again, he was determined to die. I'll say it again. The 6 Stars Pagoda and the Chaotic Pagoda both belong to the Lord of 6 Stars. How do you want me to hand them over to you? Chu Xinyan narrowed his eyes. Very well, then we're back to the old question. Where is the Lord of 6 Stars, Yi Liangshan? I don't know. Then what about my unfilial son, Chu Tianyu? Kong Yuanjiu said. I don't understand what the Lord Marquis is talking about. Chu Tianyu has not returned to Long Tongue since he left the Deer Cry banquet. Chu Xinyan sneered, a ruthless aura surging in his eyes. To be honest, after wasting half a month, this Marquis's patience has been exhausted. Kong Yuanjiu, do you think that someone will come to save Long Tongue just because you broke the barrier? Today, I'll let you witness with your own eyes how Long Tongue will perish right before your eyes. As he spoke, Chu Xinyan waved his hand and said calmly, Then let's kill a round first to refresh Elder Kong's spirit. As soon as he finished speaking, the walls of Flying Dragon City collapsed with a loud bang. Seeing the scene inside, the eyes of all the cultivators in Divine Elephant City widened, and they nearly stopped breathing. The stands that were previously used to watch the Deer Cry banquet were now densely packed with soldiers of the Dingwa Marquis. In the hands of every soldier of the Dingwa Marquis army was a saber held to the necks of the Dragon Soar Academy students. At the center of the grandstand, where the competition for the chief was held, blood had already flowed like a river. The ground was littered with corpses. Some of these corpses were wearing the uniform of the Marquis of Dingwa, but most of them were students and instructors of the Dragon Soar Academy. Following Chu Xinyan's order, the soldiers of the Dingwa Marquis in the first row of the grandstand raised their sabers. It was as if they had rehearsed it. One after another, neither fast nor slow, seamlessly connected. The students at the back could only watch helplessly as their classmates died, and then welcome their own death. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 2920. 1 second to remember, LoveNet, providing you with exciting reading. That kind of fear and despair could not be described in words. Finally, someone could not help but break down and cry, wailing and begging for help. There were also people who desperately cursed. But no matter what they did, they could not save their lives. Blood splashed down from the stands and flowed into the center of Flying Dragon City. The blood river became deeper. The smell of blood in the air seemed to be able to completely engulf people's senses. Stop! 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 Kong Yuanjiu's eyes were red. He clearly had no spiritual power left in his body, but he pounced over like a madman, wanting to perish together with the Dingwa Marquis. But under the siege of Miao Yu and Chu Xinyan, he was already like an arrow at the end of its flight and had no strength to fight anymore. At this moment, he was gently kicked by Miao Yu and rolled far away, unable to get up for a long time. Bastards! You bastards! Zhou Daoi, who was standing on the stands, roared hysterically with tears in his eyes. Those are the students of Long Tongue, the future hope of the cultivation continent. Kill them. You will suffer retribution. You will definitely suffer retribution. As soon as he finished shouting, he was kicked to the ground by the Dingwa Marquis, who stomped on his head several times. Poor Zhou Daoi, a peak astral projection expert, was seriously injured and restrained by the immortal binding rope. He could only be slaughtered by a small soldier. All the cultivators in the square were scared out of their wits. Is the Dingwa Marquis crazy? This is Long Tongue Academy. Those students all have status and background. Isn't he afraid of those families looking for trouble by killing them so recklessly? No. Look carefully. There are not many students here from the Heavenly Court. Most of them are teachers and students from the Earth Court and the Human Court. They are either extremely talented but have no background, or they only have a small sect behind them and can't afford to offend the Dingwa Manor. Someone sucked in a breath of cold air. Even if these students and teachers don't have any background, they are still thousands of lives. Is the Dingwa Marquis going to kill them all? The Lan royal family and the families of the Eastern continent will definitely not stand by and watch. Yes, the Lan royal family is so close, they will definitely rush over immediately. Should stop talking. Do you want to die? Just as these people said. The moment Dragon Soar Academy's barrier was broken, the Lan royal family and the Eastern continent's Su family received the news. Soon, Lan Feng and Su Qingling led a large group of cultivators to Divine Elephant City. However, before they could land, they were intercepted in midair. Patriarch Shui, Shrouded Sky Mansion's sect master. Seeing the two people intercepting them in the air, Lan Feng and Su Qingling's expressions changed. They had brought many people with them, but the strongest among them was only at leaving Aperture Realm Pinnacle. Two patriarchs at the Crossing Calamity stage were standing in their way. Lan Feng said in disbelief, "Old Master Shui, Sect Master Su, what is the meaning of this?" Su Qingling looked down at the Long Tongue Academy and was even more furious. "Dingwa Ho, you actually dared to kill innocent people in a sacred place like the Long Tongue Academy. Aren't you afraid of being despised by the people of the world?" Chu Xinyan sneered. Without even raising his head, he said indifferently, "You are not qualified to talk to this Marquis. If you want to criticize me, get your Su family's old ancestor to come out." Su Qingling was furious. However, before she could speak, she heard the Shui family's old ancestor, Shui Minglang, speak loudly. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 29-21. 1 second remember, love net, to provide you with exciting reading. Long Tongue harbored the unfettered 7 demons, allowing Jun Mayan to kill my Shui family's children and grandchildren. Dingwa Ho slaughtered Long Tongue in order to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens, to avenge my Shui family. What's wrong with me helping from the side? Lan Feng and Su Qingling were speechless. This was because the news of Jun Mayan killing Shui Huai and Shui Huailu, the 2 heirs of the Shui family, had already spread far and wide. The Shui family's old ancestors' hatred towards Jun Mayan can be imagined. The Shrouded Heaven Mansion's master, Su Qinquan, also said faintly, "The unfettered 7 devils injure my only grandson, Su Yi, at the Dearmorn banquet, causing his internal injuries to relapse after he returned to the Shrouded Heaven Mansion, causing his body to explode. Long Tongue harbored evil spirits and assisted the tyrant in his evil deeds. Ding Guoho's action was to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens and raise the prestige of the righteous path." What's wrong with that? Miao Yu giggled and said, "The previous Dingguo Prince Chu Tianyu was disobedient and unfilial. He killed his father and betrayed his ancestors. He is a sinner that cannot be tolerated by the heavens. Who would have thought that even this little bastard, Long Tongue, would want to protect him? He even arrogantly declared that if the Dingwa Marquis had the ability, he could take down the entire Long Tongue. He, isn't the Marquis here to fulfill your wishes? As Miao Yu spoke, his eyes turned to look at the cultivators on the square. Everyone, what qualifications do you think a dirty place like the Soaring Dragon sect has to become the holy land of the World College? The Marquis of Dingwa slaughtered them and helped you get rid of the scum. Shouldn't this be something to celebrate? He. The square fell into a dead silence. Many people knew that was not the case. Most of the students and mentors of the Dragon Ascension Academy were innocent. How could such an indiscriminate massacre be worthy of celebration? How could he say that it was a righteous act? Moreover, the Unfettered Seven and Chu Tianyu were all familiar names to the cultivators of Divine Elephant City. Could these people really be deranged demons? But no matter how angry and doubtful they were, in the face of Chu Xinyan's power, they did not dare to refute. Lan Feng and Su Qingling looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Especially Lan Feng. At this moment, monstrous waves were surging in his heart, and he was both terrified and regretful. He had never thought that in less than a month's time, the strength of the Dingwa Marquis household would expand to such an extent. Hihi's sect, the Shrouded Heaven Mansion, and the Shui family had all become his minions. Even Miao Yu, Xue Minglang, and Su Qianquan, these three transcending tribulation supreme experts, actually listened to his orders. If he were to wait until he massacred Dragon Soar Academy and killed Kong Yuanjiu today, Chu Xinyan's ambition could no longer be suppressed by anyone. However, no matter how anxious he was, what could he do? Not to mention that he and Su Qingling came in a hurry and did not even summon the tribulation-passing ancestor. Even if the Lan Imperial clan and the Su clan's tribulation-passing ancestors rushed over, they might not be a match for Chu Xinyan. Other than watching Long Tongue fall into despair, there was nothing else they could do. Kong Yuanjiu looked at Su Qingling and Lan Feng, who were blocked outside the Divine Elephant City. The remaining light in his eyes slowly extinguished. He did not hesitate to perish together with the enemy, expending his primordial spirit to break through the barrier and send out a cry for help. But he did not expect that Chu Xinyan had already arranged a backup plan. At this moment, Long Tongue was like a fish on the chopping block. He no longer had any hope of survival. He knew that Long Tongue was finished. He, Kong Yuanjiu, would definitely die today. Chu Xinyan looked at Kong Yuanjiu's expression and smiled lightly. How is it? Elder Kong should give up now, right? Think about it. The lives of thousands of people in Longting can't be compared to the whereabouts of Yap Liangshan. For mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 29-22. Chu Xinyan used his spirit energy to condense his voice and send it into Kong Yuanjiu's ears. As long as you tell me the whereabouts of Yi Liangshan and that unfilial son, I guarantee that the remaining students and teachers will be able to live. In the future, Dragon Soaring Academy will still be the #1 academy on the cultivation continent. Kong Yuanjiu closed his eyes. 2 streams of tears washed away the blood stains on his face. He opened his eyes and said in a hoarse voice, I don't know Yi Liangshan's identity. She was the Emperor's fiancée. Even if he betrayed the world, he would never betray the Emperor. Apart from him, everyone else in Dragon Soaring was restricted by the 6 Stars Order. Once they revealed their identity as the Lord of 6 Stars, they would explode and die. Just like Su Qianquan's grandson, Su Yi, who had exploded and died. Chu Xinyan's expression turned cold. He didn't expect that Kong Yuanjiu would still refuse to reveal Yi Liangshan's identity. Good, very good. It looks like you really want all the teachers and students of Dragon Soaring to die. Do you really want the 1,000-year Dragon Soar to be annihilated today? Since that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. Chu Xinyan waved his hand and said coldly, Continue killing. Kill until someone is willing to speak. The Dingwa army obeyed and raised the butcher's knife in their hands again. In an instant, blood swords flew and screams filled the air. Finally, There were some students and teachers who, upon seeing this scene of slaughter, could no longer bear it. With a plop, they knelt down and begged. We surrender. We are willing to pledge allegiance to Marquis Ding. Please spare us." With the first person taking the lead, more and more teachers and students knelt down and cowed out. Chu Xinyan seemed to find this scene interesting. He raised his hand and made a pause gesture. "You want to join the Dingwa army?" "Yes, yes. We're willing to serve the Marquis. Please give us a chance." Some of the strong-willed people were shocked and angry when they saw this scene. They couldn't help but curse. "Sutsong, you ungrateful scum. Dragon Soaring Academy treats you so well. He knows your family is poor and even gave you free tuition to cultivate. Is this how you repay me, you bastard? Jiazhangyi, didn't we agree to be soaring dragons, men in life and ghosts in death? How could you do such a shameless thing?" The traitorous cultivators who were insulted either flew into a rage out of humiliation or shrank their heads in silence. Miao Yu also seemed to find it interesting and giggled. "You want to join the Dingwa Marquis army with empty promises? You should at least show some sincerity." The people kneeling on the ground looked at each other. Suddenly, someone stood up, snatched the knife from the soldier's hand, and chopped off the head of the student who was cursing fiercely just now. "Su Tsong, you animal!" The student called Su Tsong wiped the blood off his face and grinned. "How could we trouble the Dingwa Marquis army with such a trivial matter? Let us do it. There's one more thing. I don't know if I can make up for my mistake by saying it, so that I'll be qualified to serve the Marquis in the future." Chu Xinyan raised his eyebrows. "What is it? Say it." Su Tsong lowered his head and bowed. In these past few months, this lowly one has seen Chu Tianyu in Dragon Soaring Academy. Moreover, the day before the Marquis came, this lowly one saw Elder Kong and sent him into Elder Kong's private seclusion room. Whether he came out afterwards, this lowly one doesn't know. Chapter 29-23. Su Tsong, Kong Yuanjiu, Zhou Daoi, and Chu Zongsheng roared in unison. Chu Xinyan chuckled. "Not bad. The information you provided is very useful. From now on, you will follow this Marquis." "Thank you, Marquis. Thank you, Marquis." Su Tsong knelt on the ground, overjoyed. Chu Xinyan had already waved for Miao Yu to take people to the back of the mountain. "Elder Kong is really a good strategist." Chu Xinyan sneered and said, "You hid him in your secret chamber, and then fought with us in the secret chamber. You were blinded by a single leaf. We would never have thought that that unfilial son was actually hiding in the cave." Kong Yuanjiu closed his eyes, his heart dead. It was he who sealed Chu Tianyu's acupoints and hid him in the secret room. At that time, he thought that he could escape. When Chu Xinyan left, Chu Tianyu could still send a message to Mu Yin, telling them not to return to Longtong. But who knew that he couldn't escape? Not a single one could escape. Not long after, Chu Tianyu was brought over. His expression was surprisingly calm. There was no fear or panic on his face, nor was there any solemnity of facing death. Even when Miao Yu was boldly teasing him, he turned a blind eye to it and walked straight to Chu Xinyan. Chu Xinyan looked at the handsome young man in front of him, blue veins popping on his forehead. His eyes flashed with deep jealousy and greed. "Unfilial son, kneel for me," Chu Xinyan shouted, and a terrifying pressure surged towards Chu Tianyu like it could topple mountains and overturn the seas. He thought that his son would kneel and beg for mercy like before, trembling. However, what surprised him was that Chu Tianyu was forced by the pressure of a tribulation cultivator. His face was pale, and blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. But his expression was surprisingly calm, and there was even a mocking smile in his eyes as he looked at Chu Xinyan. "Unfilial son? Dingwa Ho. Really, must be joking. When did you think of me as your son? You're raising me because you want to use my essence, blood, and nascent soul to prolong your life." Even under such overwhelming pressure, Chu Tianyu still said the words that had been hidden in his heart for decades, word by word. Chu Xinyan flew into a rage. He swung his hand and ruthlessly slapped him, sending him flying. Chu Tianyu's body was in midair, and he had already spat out a mouthful of blood mixed with shattered organs. However, before his body could land on the ground, an invisible force had already grabbed him by the throat and dragged him back to Chu Xinyan. At this time, Chu Xinyan had completely lost the patience to ask nicely. He gripped Chu Tianyu's throat tightly and asked while gritting his teeth, "Who is Lianchen's true identity?" Chu Tianyu forced a sneer at the corner of his mouth. He used all the strength in his body to raise his voice, saying word by word, "Chu Xinyan, 100 years ago, you old bastard should have died from the exhaustion of your lifespan. All these years, you relied on devouring the blood essence and primordial spirit of your own flesh and blood to prolong your feeble existence. Dreaming in the middle of the night, aren't you afraid that my brothers and sisters will come and take your life? Chu Xinyan, evil creature, you still dare to spout nonsense." I'm spouting nonsense." Chu Tianyu laughed in a low voice. Suddenly, he turned his head and bit Chu Xinyan's sleeve with his teeth. He did not care that his neck was in Chu Xinyan's hand and fiercely pulled. With a tearing sound, a piece of Chu Xinyan's sleeve was torn off, revealing the wrinkled skin of Chu Xinyan's hand. Chapter 29-24. The people in the square who see this scene all suck in a mouthful of cold air. The wrinkled, withered skin on Chu Xinyan's hand isn't scary. What's scary is that these dry and cracked wrinkles form a sharp contrast with his elegant and noble face that doesn't have the slightest trace of aging. Chu Tianyu laughs slowly. Everyone, do you see? This is Chu Xinyan's true face. He's the real devil. You're courting death. Chu Xinyan roars, black energy surging from his hand. Disregarding everything, he wants to directly suck Chu Tianyu dry in front of everyone. But just then, there's a loud noise in the distance. Faintly, there seems to be a roar. "Jun Mayan, let's see where you can run to." This shout immediately draws everyone's attention to the northern sky. Even Chu Xinyan stopped what he was doing and looked up. On the contrary, the pupils of Chu Tianyu and Kong Yuanjiu suddenly shrink, their eyes filled with fear. Why would Jun Mayan come to Divine Elephant City? How could she come to Divine Elephant City at this time? However, at this very moment, the development of the situation is already beyond anyone's control. In the blink of an eye, a seven-colored stream of light whistles over from the distant sky, hovering over the square. This time, the entire Divine Elephant City is in an uproar. Jumayan? Is she crazy? Why would she come to Divine Elephant City? Could it be that she wants to ask Long Tongue Academy for help? But doesn't she know that Long Tongue can't even protect itself right now? The seven-colored cloud carpet slowly descends in the center of the square. The cultivators who were originally standing their retreat again and again, holding their breaths as they watch the scene in front of them. They only feel that everything that happened today is like a stormy sea, full of twists and turns. The young girl in fluttering black clothes slowly walks down from the seven-colored cloud carpet. The sunlight falls on her flawless snow-white skin, as if it was plated with a layer of porcelain white light. Her peerless appearance is unreservedly displayed in front of everyone. It makes people's breathing and souls seem to be snatched away in an instant. Miao Yu's charming and moving appearance seems so tacky in front of her. Even the disdainful, imposing manner that Chu Xinyan just created. Those who submit will prosper. Those who oppose will perish, seems to have been washed away by the peerless elegance at this moment. This is the unique, fatally beautiful killing god Jun Mayan. Only one person and one zither were needed to dominate the world. Miao Yu's eyes flashed with jealousy, but he quickly chuckled. "Little girl, you really have some guts. There are so many people waiting to capture you, yet you still dare to appear in Divine Elephant City in broad daylight? What, do you think you can still find Dragon Soaring Academy to back you up?" Ha ha! Mayan doesn't even spare Miao Yu a glance. She goes to Sun Yuanjiu's side first and raises her hand to stuff a pill into his mouth. Then, he slowly walked towards Chu Xinyan. Chu Tianyu, who was held in Chu Xinyan's palm, trembled. He muttered over and over again, "Don't come over. Don't care about me. I beg you." But he couldn't make a sound, nor did he dare to make a sound, lest he aroused Chu Xinyan's suspicions. He could only let the tears of blood fall from his eyes. Chu Xinyan looked at the young girl who was walking towards him with great interest. His eyes could not help but slightly narrow. A year ago, this girl was just a Jindan stage cultivator who had just made a name for herself at the Deer Cry banquet. Yet, he was already a leaving aperture expert. Even Chu Xinyan had to be wary of the aura he emitted. Chapter 29-25. How did this little girl advance in such a short time? If he could let her give birth to his own bloodline and then harvest her essence blood and primordial spirit, wouldn't it be just around the corner for him to transcend the tribulation and ascend? Thinking of this, Chu Xinyan's eyes shone with a fiery and greedy light. However, he had always been very shrewd. Even if he was thinking in his heart, he would not show it on his face. Seeing Mayan approaching, he chuckles. "June Mayan, I didn't expect that you wouldn't take the road to heaven when there's a road to heaven, but instead, you cleverly barged into hell when there's no door. Guards, capture this demoness for this marquis. This marquis will bring her back to the Dingwa Manor and torture her every day to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens." Su Qinkun laughed and cupped his hands. "The Marquis is wise and valiant, upholding justice. You should be a role model for us cultivators." Miaoyu points at the 7-colored cloud carpet and smiles. "Marquis, don't forget that there are still the minions of the 6 demons and mine inside. We can't let any of these people go." Chu Xinyan looks at Mayan with a proud smile. "June Mayan, this host sees that your steps are weak and your Dantian spiritual power has been almost consumed. You must have just escaped from being hunted down, and it must not be good, right? This marquis advises you to obediently allow yourself to be captured. Otherwise, don't blame this marquis for not showing mercy to you." Before he could finish his words, Mu Yin suddenly raises her hand. The Tian Mo Qin flies to the sky, and several Qin blades shoot out. Chu Xinyan didn't care about this attack at all. He threw Chu Tianyu to Miaoyu and was about to counterattack. Who would have thought that halfway through the throw, the zither blade in the air would make a turn and fly towards Chu Tianyu. The moment it touched Chu Tianyu, the sharp zither blade turned into a zither string and wrapped around Chu Tianyu, directly dragging him to Mu Yan's side. Chu Tianyu fell heavily to the ground, and the bones in his body seemed to have fallen apart. But he didn't seem to feel any pain at all. He just stared blankly at the girl in front of him. Mayan takes out a young returning pill and feeds it to him, saying in a low voice, "Help Elder Kong onto the flowing cloud carpet." Chu Tianyu acted as if he didn't hear it and said absent-mindedly, "Why did you come? Do you know how dangerous this place is? Why did he risk his life to save her in such a dangerous situation?" Mu Yin did not answer his question, but repeated the order she had just given. Chu Tianyu closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he had already restrained all his emotions. "Yes," he answered, got up, helped Kong Yuanjiu up, and stepped onto the 7-colored cloud carpet. "Trying to run. Do you think you can run away?" Su Qinkun roared, and the long sword in his hand flew out. The flying sword of a tribulation transcending almighty, even if it was casually used, would definitely be a treasure above the 9th rank. Ordinary flying carpets would definitely be torn into pieces if they were struck by the sword. At that time, the people above would have nowhere to hide. However, the flying sword that was infused with 70% of Su Qinkwen's power only caused the protective shield above the flying carpet to tremble before it bounced back. When Su Qinkwen grasped the sword, he was forced to take 2 steps back. His first reaction was to exclaim, "This is impossible. How could his 9th-grade flying sword not be able to cut a mere flying magic treasure into pieces?" Earlier, everyone's attention was attracted by June Mayan. Now, some people cast their gazes on the flying carpet that was emitting a 7-colored radiance. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Why do I feel that this flying carpet is so similar to Tianguang Ruins' treasure, the flowing cloud carpet? Chapter 29-26. No, that's not right? Wasn't the rainbow cloud carpet the prize for the Heavenly Light Grand Finals? Shouldn't it be in God Ye's hands? There have always been rumors that the relationship between Great God Yi and the Xiao Yao Seven Sons is very good. Could it be that this rainbow cloud carpet was given to Mayan by Great God Yi? Bah, who does June Mayan think she is? Is she worthy of our great God, Yi giving her the rainbow cloud carpet? June Mayan is a sinister and cunning demon. She was able to steal Mu Lu Pavilion's artifact and inheritance. It's hard to say that she didn't steal this seven-colored cloud carpet from Great God Yi. Previously, Lung Qingwan had pretended to be June Mayan and caused a huge enmity between Liang Chen's army and Qin Cheng's army. As soon as the supporters of both sides met, they fought like black-eyed chickens. However, at this time, with Chu Xinyan, Miao Yu, and the others present, they didn't dare to fight openly. They could only secretly debate. Mu Yin, who is standing on the side, doesn't know whether to laugh or cry when she hears their quarrel. Back in the Tianguang ruins, she had already witnessed the tension between the Liangchen army and the Qincheng army. He didn't expect it to be even more noisy in the real world than in the Tianguang ruins. She composed herself and looked at the teachers and students of Long Tongue who were captured in Flying Dragon City. His line of sight slowly turned and landed on the two towering towers, one on the east and one on the west, facing each other from a distance. There was only one chance. She must seize this opportunity. Chu Xinyan suddenly narrowed his eyes and said faintly, "June Mayan, do you know who Yi Liangchen is?" Muyan hooks up her lips. Of course she knew who Yap Liangchen was. Was there anyone who knew Yap Liangchen better than her? However, before she could say anything, the powerful aura in the distance had already approached like a bolt of lightning. Muyan's pupils shrank. She knew that Ning Su and the Northerners had caught up. Indeed, Ning Su and Jing Tianyi landed in Divine Elephant City moments later. Before his feet touched the ground, the demon's slaying sword was unsheathed. The bone-piercing killing intent is like an inescapable net, firmly enveloping Mayan and the seven-colored cloud carpet behind her. Ning Su hovered in midair, his crimson eyes fixed on the young girl in green. "I found you. On the road, Mayan has just condensed a bit of spiritual power in her dantian. At this moment, it began to operate without regard for anything else. Stunning lotus steps activated. Her figure turned into a ghost and retreated towards the Flying Dragon City. The rainbow cloud carpet seemed to have a mind of its own as it immediately followed her. Ning Su's long hair and robes fluttered despite the lack of wind. He activated his consciousness, and the demon's slaying sword instantly changed its direction. A bone-chilling voice, carrying a chilling, killing intent, resounds between heaven and earth. "June Mayan, do you think you can escape?" Swish! The demon's slaying sword suddenly split into countless swords in the air and ruthlessly chopped down towards Flying Dragon City. In an instant, it was as if the sky was raining swords. The soldiers of the North-ranking Marquis, who had been controlling the students and teachers of the Soaring Dragon Academy, had not expected such an unexpected disaster to befall them, and were scared out of their wits. They kicked away the teachers and students of Long Tongue Academy, stepped on them, and ran away as if they were fleeing. As for the students and teachers of the Soaring Dragon sect who were left behind, they were either heavily injured or bound by the immortal binding rope. They had no strength to escape at all. They could only fall to the ground and watch helplessly as the rain of swords fell from the sky and cut them into mincemeat. However, just as they closed their eyes in despair, the expected pain and death did not come. Instead, their bodies seemed to be pulled by a force, rising rapidly. Zhou Daoyi opened his eyes in a daze, only to discover that he had already fallen onto the seven-colored cloud carpet. He abruptly turned his head, not having the time to clearly see what had happened. Chapter 29-27. They heard a loud rumble from below. Flying Dragon City was completely destroyed. Some of the north-ranking Marquis troops who didn't have time to escape were directly crushed into meat paste by the rain of swords. The smell of blood in the air was getting stronger and stronger. So strong that it made people nauseous, so strong that it made people despair. Zhou Daoi seemed to realize something at this time, his eyes widening little by little. It was Jun Mayan who saved them, using deadly young Master Ning Su's demon-slaying sword to let the north-ranking Marquis troops loosen their grip. But in this way, Ning Su's sword, which could shock the heavens and the earth and make ghosts and gods weep, would be completely endured by Jun Mayan alone. Miss June was already seriously injured. How could she still bear it? Jun Mayan! A mournful cry came from behind. Chu Tianyu pounced over like a madman, as if he wanted to throw himself out of the seven-colored cloud carpet. However, the protective cover around the flying carpet blocked him. Even if there was no one to control it, this rank 9 flying magic tool was still faithfully fulfilling its duty. Let me out! Let me out! Do you hear me? As the saying goes, a man doesn't easily shed tears. But at this time, Chu Tianyu's face was full of tears, like a madman, bombarding the protective cover with spiritual power again and again. Jun Mayan, you fool. I've harmed you. Why did you take the risk to save me? These people are not related to you. They even treat you as a demon. Why? Why did you risk your life to save them? They all say that you're a deadly god of death. They all say that you're a demoness. But in this world, is there a demoness who would abandon herself for others? The youth's voice was hoarse and hoarse, as if he was weeping blood. His low roar resounded in the air. Heartbreaking. Everyone on the seven-colored cloud carpet had tears in their eyes. Great God June saved us. I thought I was dead. I thought that no one cared about our lives. Great God June, she was clearly in danger, but she still risked her life to save us. How could such a person be a demon? Xiao Ai rushed to the seven-colored cloud carpet, pointed at Ning Su and cried, Fairy sister is a good person. Why did you kill her? Scoundrel! Why did you kill her? I hate you. I hate all of you. Ning Su retracted his demon-slaying sword and stared blankly at the collapsed flying dragon city. After a long while, a twisted smile appeared on his face. His hoarse voice seemed to be convincing himself and others at the same time. Evil demons deserve to be killed. You asked for it. Jun Mayan, you brought this upon yourself. Jing Tianyi smiled and turned his gaze towards the seven-colored cloud carpet. He said unhurriedly, that demoness Jun Mayan is dead, but the remaining 6 unfettered demons are still alive. Are you going to obediently hand him over now? Or do you want to die with him? Rainbow cloud carpet, let's go. Leave immediately. One Huang Lang roared. Before Miss June left the drifting cloud carpet, she instructed me to protect her fellow disciples no matter what. Sure enough, the seven-colored cloud carpet listened to Wen Huanglang's orders. He immediately flew into the distance. Jing Tianyi sneered and soared into the sky. At some point in time, he was holding a bell in his hand, and he threw it at the colorful cloud carpet. Bang! A dazzling light exploded in the air. The bell flew out and fell back into Jing Tianyi's hand. On the other side, the girl with the Tian Mo Qin floated in the air, her black robe fluttering in the wind. She suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Her black robe had long been stained with dust, and one of her arms hung down powerlessly, showing an irregular distortion. Chapter 29-28. The dress on the lower part of her body is completely soaked in blood, turning crimson. At this time, the girl is so miserable, so battered, but she truly blocked Ning Su's deadly rain of swords, and also blocked Jing Tianyi's thunderous strike. Everyone in Divine Elephant City raised their heads, watching this scene in a daze, as if they had become stupid. June, Mu, Yin. Chu Tianyu hisses out these 3 words, and his body can no longer support itself. He weakly collapses on the cloud carpet, tears flowing down majestically. The others behind him burst into thunderous roars after a moment of shock. It's Great God June. Great God June is still alive. Madam Enchantress. Boo-hoo. Great Madam Enchantress didn't die. It's not just the people on the cloud carpet who are going crazy with joy. Even the fallen troops in the divine Elephant City forgot where they were and were about to go crazy. I'll go. That's young Master Jueming's sure-kill sword. Great God, June actually blocked it, rescuing Master Long Tongue from thousands of soldiers and horses. Two high-level transcending tribulation cultivators couldn't do anything to her. Heavens, what kind of deity do I like? Azure blue-purple cloud, shocking the world with a single brilliant feat Woodfern dominates. Fusong massacres the city. Who dares to contend with alluring city? The person I like is really the best and strongest in the world. The faces of Liang Chen's army are very unsightly. Who dares to contend with alluring city? Isn't this clearly trampling their great god Yi underfoot? But Jumine's performance just now is too amazing. So amazing that everyone completely forgot that she's just a young girl in her early 20s. So amazing that everyone doesn't care whether she's a demon or not. Even if they want to refute, they can't even say half a word. But for them to admit that their idol is inferior to others, that's worse than death. Scoundrel! If their great god Yi comes out at this time, he will certainly amaze everyone, completely suppressing this June Mind's radiance. On the other side, at this moment, the big shots, including Chu Xinyan, no longer have time to pay attention to them. Everyone's eyes fall on Mayan. Their eyes were filled with shock, astonishment, jealousy, and greed. The young girl in front of them had completely subverted their understanding of cultivators' talents and ranks. A young lady in her early 20s and a young cultivator who had just advanced to the leaving aperture stage less than half a month ago. He had actually withstood Ning Su's fatal blow. This was even more shocking and unbelievable than her killing the great elder of Mu Lu Pavilion. The higher one's position was, the more they knew the identity and background of young Master Suicide Su. Just how high was his cultivation? Over the past 100 years, there have been many powerful devil cultivators on the cultivation continent. Some of them had even reached large success of the devil body and were only a step away from leaving the 6 paths of samsara and ascending to the immortal continent. But these powerful demonic cultivators had all died at Ning Su's hands. They didn't even have the ability to resist. Ning Su's gaze is firmly fixed on Mu Yan. Seeing her fly out of the ruins alive, Ning Su's eyes were filled with killing intent. But more than that, it was as he had expected. Jun Shiyuan and Ning Yinxin's daughter, the only person he, Ning Su, cared about in this world. How could she die so easily? But that's fine too. Just letting her be buried in the ruins. How could it relieve the pain and unease in his heart? The demon-slaying sword is slowly raised, pointing at the young girl in front of him. Chapter 29-29. Only by sending his sword into Mayan's heart with his own hands and taking her life could he resolve the bone-deep hatred of being betrayed and abandoned over and over again. Chu Xinyan had unknowingly walked to Ning Su's side and chuckled. Master Jueming, this witch Mayan is very cunning and has countless tricks up her sleeves. If we're not careful, she'll escape. I think it would be better for us to join hands and capture her first. What do you think? In the end, Chu Xinyan couldn't bear to part with Mayan's good talent and appearance. It would be too much of a pity to die in Ning Su's hands like this. Ning Su coldly looked at Chu Xinyan, his eyes full of disgust. Get lost. Before he finished speaking, the demon-slaying sword swept across and sent Chu Xinyan flying. Chu Xinyan didn't expect Ning Su to suddenly turn hostile. He fell from the sky, crashing into the ruins of Flying Dragon City. It took him a long time to get up. Marquis, are you all right? Chu Xinyan shook off the man who came to help him up and looked at Ning Su in the air with malicious eyes. His eyes seemed to be dipped in poison. Ning Su waved Chu Xinyan away, not stopping at all. His figure and the demon-slaying sword became one as he attacked Mayan. Mayan's reaction speed was also very fast. The moment Chu Xinyan was sent flying, she retreated into the rainbow cloud carpet. When the demon-slaying sword attacked, the rainbow cloud carpet was already flying towards the west. However, Ning Su and the demon-slaying sword were too fast. Before the carpet could fly far, it was hit by the demon-slaying sword. Bang! A loud noise came from the sky. The rainbow glow that shrouded the cloud carpet flickered violently, and then it began to crack little by little. The flying carpet that carried the lives of tens of thousands of people was also on the verge of collapse. Standing on the carpet, Mayan spat out another mouthful of blood. Her body swayed, and her eyes almost slackened. "Miss June Mayan." Chu Tianyu rushed forward to support her. "How are you?" "Oh no, look at the rainbow cloud carpet." A villager of Yuan Wu village screamed, pointing at the carpet under his feet. Everyone looked down and found that the 7 colors of the carpet were becoming fainter and fainter. Many of the originally complicated patterns on the carpet had broken and disappeared. The rainbow cloud carpet is about to be destroyed. What do we do? Are we all going to die? Once the 7-colored cloud carpet was destroyed, the thousands of them and the living corpses would have nowhere to run. At this moment, Ning Su's second thunderous strike arrived once again. Mu Yin firmly bites the tip of her tongue, using the pain to clear her mind. She mobilizes the remaining spiritual power in her body and injects it into the flowing rainbow cloud carpet. The rainbow cloud carpet, which was on the verge of shattering, continued to fly toward the west as fast as lightning after receiving the infusion of spiritual power. However, the direction that the rainbow cloud carpet was facing was not the unobstructed sea and sky. Instead, it was the towering chaotic tower that pierced through the clouds. Crap! The 7-colored flowing cloud carpet is going to crash into the chaotic tower. Has the great god, June, lost the ability to control the 7-colored cloud carpet? Could it be that she doesn't know that any living being that bumps into the chaotic tower will be crushed by the defensive barrier surrounding the chaotic tower? Over the past year, the heaven-defying effects of the chaotic pagoda had become more and more familiar to the cultivators of the world. Most of the cultivators that entered and exited the divine elephant city every day were there to cultivate in the chaotic tower. Some sects had even moved their entire sects to the vicinity of the divine elephant city in order to cultivate more capable disciples in the chaotic tower. One might as well ask, how could there not be people who would want to snatch such a treasure that everyone coveted like ducks? Chapter 2930. In reality, there were already people who had designs on the chaotic tower, including Chu Xinyan. However, the final result disappointed them, because no one could break the defense of the chaotic tower, and no one could break the formation at the entrance of the chaotic tower. Furthermore, as long as it was attacked from the outside, the outer barrier of the chaotic tower would backfire and crush everything around it. Oh, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. Hurry, let's push it away. Stay away from the chaotic tower. Boo-hoo, God June. Someone go save God June. In the sky, the flowing cloud carpet, which was emitting a rainbow-colored radiance, directly collided with the chaotic tower. The demon-slaying sword arrived at the same time. Boom! A loud sound rang out. Ning Su did not even have time to get close to the chaotic tower before he felt a tsunami of energy sweeping towards him. He only had time to grab the demon-slaying sword that was bounced back before he was sent flying. Ning Su spun a few times in the air before he barely managed to stabilize himself. The demon-slaying sword in his hand let out a wail before it slowly quietened down. Evidently, the demon-slaying sword had suffered heavy damage from the energy attack just now. Ning Su was shocked. He did not expect that there would be such a powerful treasure on a mere cultivation path. However, before he could think about what exactly this chaotic pagoda was, a voice rang out. He realized that the entire divine elephant city had fallen into an eerie, deathly silence. Ning Su was startled, feeling something in his heart as he turned to look. What he saw was the colorful cloud carpet that had landed steadily on the top of the chaotic tower, and a beautiful girl with long black hair and fluttering green clothes standing on the top of the tower. What was going on? Even Sir Jueming was bounced back by the chaotic tower. Why? Why is Juemayan standing on the chaotic tower? No, it's not just Juemayan. It's the entire flowing rainbow cloud carpet. Everyone on the flowing rainbow cloud carpet has entered the chaotic tower. Damn it, am I seeing things? Why didn't the chaotic tower kill these people? Why didn't the chaotic tower chase them out? What kind of people would not be chased out even after entering the chaotic tower? What kind of people could do whatever they wanted and let anyone they wanted enter the chaotic tower? The whispers grew louder and louder. There was a crazy and unimaginable idea fermenting in their minds until it was out of control. Chu Xinyan suddenly stood up from the ruins of the Flying Dragon City, his eyes staring straight at the young girl standing in the prehistoric tower. His eyes grew wider and wider. Someone opened his mouth, his lips trembling, wanting to voice out the speculation in his heart. However, there was a voice that was faster, louder, and more shocking than them, exploding in everyone's ears. The ground suddenly shook violently. Then blue, silver, green, purple, yellow, and red lights mixed together like a rainbow shot out from 6 different directions of the divine elephant city, forming a huge ball of light in the air before exploding loudly. The skies above the Dragon's Soar Academy, which had been dyed in blood into a hell, suddenly exploded with fireworks at this moment, as dazzling as the heavens of a golden age. A familiar, deep, and ancient voice resounded in the heavens and the earth. 1,000 years have passed, and the universe is boundless. Mysterious heaven appears. Yin and Yang fall into chaos. The dragon soars into the heavens, the jade blood at its heart. The 6 stars gather, the king descends. We respectfully welcome the arrival of the Lord of 6 Stars, Yi Liangshun. Chapter 29:31. Dead silence. The entire divine elephant city fell into dead silence. A moment later, the artifact spirit's voice rang out again. Lord of 6 Stars, may I ask if you wish to take back the rights to use the chaotic tower and 6 Stars Pagoda? Under the watchful eyes of tens of thousands. On the chaotic tower, the green-clothed, blood-stained girl spat out 2 simple words. Withdraw. Holy shit. Liang Chun Dajuan. Fuck, 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 fuck. The ancient voice laughed absent-mindedly. It was filled with gratification, anticipation, and a trace of nostalgia. I respectfully invite the Lord of 6 Stars, Yi Liangchun, to receive the chaotic tower and the 6 Stars Pagoda. At this point, this old man's mission in the cultivation continent has been completed. I will now retire and return to the cultivation continent. Lord of 6 Stars, please take care of yourself and ascend to the immortal world as soon as possible. I will wait for you at the cloud summit of heaven and earth. As soon as he finished speaking, the divine elephant city shook violently again. The 6-star pagoda in the east seemed to be uprooted by a huge force, swaying as it flew towards the girl on top of the chaotic pagoda. A huge shadow shrouded the dumbfounded crowd below. Even when the dust on the 6 stars pagoda fell down and hit their faces, these people did not react at all. As they get closer, the huge 6-star pagoda becomes smaller and smaller until it becomes the size of a palm, and Mayan puts it into her sleeve. Her body swayed, and her vision blurred. She almost couldn't stand steadily. Muyin knows that this time, her injuries are very, very serious. It was not something that could be recovered in a day. Entering the divine elephant city was like stepping into a real dragon's pool and tiger's den. The slightest carelessness would lead to eternal damnation. But fortunately, she won the bet. At the same time, Yi Liangchun couldn't hide her identity anymore. Sure enough, after a brief moment of absent-mindedness, the entire divine elephant city was boiling. No, they were going crazy, especially the Liangchen army and the city-toppling army. Just 2 hours ago, They were still arguing over who was more powerful between Yi Liangshun and Junmayan. It would not be an exaggeration to say that the supporters of both sides were enemies. But now, the Six Stars Pagoda's artifact spirit was clearly telling them. Yi Liangshun and Junmayan are the same person. Had they gone mad, or had the world gone mad? Some of Liangshun's soldiers couldn't help but fly up to the sky and ask loudly, Junmayan, are you really Yi Liangshun? My nods. The Yi Liangshun who slaughtered the Ling Long, Nirvana, and Ling Xiao lists? It's me. The Yi Liangshun who became the champion of Flourishing Heavenly Lights Finals as a Talisman Master? It's me. More and more Liangshun's army flew up and asked questions one after another with trembling voices. The one who slaughtered the Dragon Ascension 6 lists, trampled all the young talents of the Dearmorn Banquet, and became the unprecedented Lord of 6 Stars. Yi Liangshun? It's me. Yi Liangshun, the one who obtained the unique inheritance of the sacred ancestor Herb King, slaughtered all 4 ranks of the alchemy competition, and made a king pellet in the alchemy competition. It's me. A female cultivator took a step forward, her eyes filled with tears as she sobbed. The one who can clearly refine the most expensive talismans and pellets in the world, but insists on selling them to Liangshun's army at a low price. The one who always stands up for us when we are wronged and bullied. The best god Yi in the world, is it really you? The corner of Mayan's mouth, without a trace of blood, slowly hooks up. It's me. I am Junmayan, and also Yi Liangshun. Chapter 29:32. 1 second to remember. LoveNet, providing you with exciting reading. I never had the chance to use my real face and voice to personally say something to you. Thank you. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for being willing to trust me, protect me, overcome all obstacles for me, and never abandon me even though we've met by chance despite being separated by thousands of miles. Mayan's gaze turned to devastating beauty army. Thank you too. When we are being condemned by everyone and besieged on all sides, you're still willing to trust me and speak up for me. The pale-faced girl raises the corner of her mouth, revealing a faint smile. This smile is neither bright nor charming. It even carries a fragile paleness that seems like it could shatter at any time. However, this smile is so warm and pure, like a stream, quietly, without warning, flowing into the bottom of people's hearts. From then on, they will depend on each other, never to be forgotten. Some sentimental female cultivators can't help but burst into tears, choking with sobs. As for the cultivators who had nothing to do with the city-toppling army and the Liangshun army, most of them were in a frenzy. No, wait, why are they crying at this time? Shouldn't the most important thing right now be, how can Yi Liangshun and Junmayan be the same person? Damn, Yi Liangshun was Yi Liangshun and Junmayan was Junmayan. I already felt that these two evildoers are ridiculously strong. Now, these two evildoers have actually merged into one. How are we ordinary cultivators supposed to survive? Wait, let me do the math. Yi Liangshun can draw talismans, concoct pills, and slaughter all the people in the world. Mu Yin can assist, heal, and is proficient in formations. She can even kill a tribulation-passing elder at the leaving aperture stage. Now you're telling me that these two are the same person? Excuse me, is there anything in this world that Junmayan can't do? Damn, even if you tell me that Junmayan can marry the Emperor and young Master Yin Xiao, I will believe it. Hearing the exclamations of the surrounding people, and then looking at the girl standing on the chaotic tower, Chu Xingyan's face alternates between green and white. How could he think that Junmayan is actually Yi Liangshun? No, it's not that he didn't think about it. Actually, Junmayan and Yi Liangshun have always been connected. But as soon as this thought popped into everyone's mind, it was immediately eliminated. Because these two people were really too powerful. Moreover, it was powerful in a completely different way. The appearance of a monster in the world shocked everyone. The appearance of two was already shocking enough. But what if these two monsters combined into one and were the same person? No one even dared to think about it. Chu Xinyan clenched his fists tightly. He had actually let Yi Liangshan off just now, and missed the best opportunity to obtain the Chaotic Pagoda and 6 Stars Pagoda. How could he accept this? Chu Xinyan soars into the sky and says in a clear voice, Jun Mayan, judging from your current appearance, I'm afraid that you can't even gather spiritual power. Even if you manage to escape into the Chaotic Tower, I'm afraid that the injuries on your body will be too much for you to recover from. Young Master Destiny and Sect Master Jing both said that you unfettered 7 are demons, but I feel that there are still some doubts about this matter. How about this? You follow this marquee back to the Dingwa Manor. This marquee guarantees that I will not let anyone harm you and will help you find out the truth of the matter. Mayan sneers at him, but doesn't say anything. Her line of sight sweeps over Ning Su. She sees that Ning Su is also staring at her coldly. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zai. Chapter 29:33. That pair of peach blossom eyes that were similar to hers were filled with killing intent and hatred. It was as if he would not rest until he tore her into pieces. Mu Yan's lips curled up, her eyes cold. Ning Su regarded the Xiao Yao 7 as demons and wanted to kill them as soon as possible. She also wanted to settle the grudge with Ning Su for her parents being hunted down. The two of them had finally reached the point where they would not rest until one of them was dead. Chu Xinyan saw that Mu Yan did not even bother to pay attention to him. His eyes filled with a malicious light. Zhu Mu Yan, with us 6 tribulation cultivators by your side, do you really think that you can escape by relying on your own strength in this chaotic tower? I advise you not to be stubborn and obediently return with this hoe. Perhaps there will be a chance of survival. Mu Yan's gaze finally fell on him, her lips curling into a mocking smile. Chu Xinyan, you've been shouting these words ever since I appeared. You're not tired of saying it, but I'm tired of hearing it. Chu Xinyan's face instantly twisted. He raised his hand, and a bolt of lightning fiercely struck the chaotic tower. The chaotic tower did not budge, but Mu Yan's body swayed, almost falling down from the tower. Miss. At this time, Chu Tianyu, who had just climbed to the top of the tower, quickly supported her. It was clammy and cold to the touch. Chu Tianyu's heart trembled fiercely. He felt a bone-piercing pain and guilt. Mu Yan forced herself to open her eyes and look at him. Everyone entered the chaotic tower. Chu Tianyu composed himself, suppressing the wetness that welled up in his eyes. He hoarsely said, Yes, everyone on the cloud carpet, including the living corpses, have entered the chaotic tower. Mu Yan's eyes revealed relief. But as soon as she relaxed, the blood in her body surged and she spat out another mouthful of blood. Miss. Chu Tianyu's hand trembled, wanted to wipe the blood from her mouth, but stopped in midair, unable to move. Mu Yan's fingernails dug deep into her palms. At this moment, she could only use the pain to maintain her consciousness, and then slowly mobilize the nearly dried-up divine sense in her body. Tianyu. Chu Xinyan's voice sounded again. Only compared to the harsh words he had when he wanted to suck Chu Tianyu dry, he now sounded a bit more kind and gentle. Tianyu, in this past year, you've been living a miserable life outside. Father has always missed you. Now that the Dingwa Marquis residence only has you as the sole son, how could Father bear to let you die? I guarantee that as long as you persuade the 7 carefree sons to surrender, you will still be the heir of the Marquis of Dingwa. You will be high and mighty and have limitless glory. Chu Tianyu almost vomited when he heard these disgusting words. Was there anyone more disgusting than Chu Xinyan in this world? Even a vicious tiger would not eat its cubs. But what about this man? He gave birth to one bloodline after another in order to absorb their essence, blood, and souls to prolong his own life. Such a person didn't even deserve to be a human, let alone a father. Chu Tianyu was about to retort, But he hears Mayan's low voice in his ear. Chu Tianyu, I still need half an incense stick of time to stall them. Chu Tianyu clenches fists, his lips trembling uncontrollably. He knew that Mayan could no longer use her spiritual power and divine sense. Otherwise, her newly advanced leaving body stage would collapse. She might even die from the collapse of her primordial spirit. However, what position did he have to stop Mayan? He could save the 7 carefree sons, but could he save teacher and student Long Tung? Could he repel Chu Xinyan and Ningsu? Could he control the chaotic tower? No, he couldn't do anything. Chapter 29:34. The only thing he could do was to watch helplessly as Mayan sacrificed herself to save everyone's lives. Tianyu, did you hear what your father said? Not getting a response, Chu Xinyan's voice impatiently rises a few octaves, even though Chu Tianyu resisted him. But in Chu Xinyan's eyes, he was still that yes man from before, the heir who allowed himself to be needed as he pleased. A heir who was inferior to even a servant in the Dinghua Ho Fu. The previous resistance was only because he had escaped from the Dinghua Ho Fu for a year. That's all. Chu Xinyan was angry because of this, but he didn't really care about this son of his. You haven't been in the Fu for a year. Have you already forgotten the consequences of rebelling against your father? Ah, and your mother, do you really think that if you take her away and hide her, I won't be able to find her? Sure enough, hearing Chu Xinyan's words, Chu Tianyu's body shudders, his face showing a panicked expression. Father. He trembles. I know I was wrong. Father, you can punish me however you want, but please don't hurt Mother. Chu Xinyan chuckles, a proud expression flashing across his face. Miao Yu flies forward, chuckling. Your Highness, it's not enough for you to just admit that you were wrong. At least you have to atone for it, right? Chu Tianyu, atone for it? That's right. Miao Yu's eyes sweep over Mayan, who seems to be teasing him with her eyes closed, the jealousy in his eyes growing stronger. Jun Mayan is seriously injured at the moment and has no power to resist. But she is holed up in the chaotic tower, and none of us can do anything to her. Right now, only the heir is in the chaotic tower. As long as you bring Jun Mayan out of the chaotic tower, it will be a great merit for all the righteous cultivators of the continent. At that time, the Marquis will naturally forgive you. Marquis, don't you think so? Chu Xinyan nods. That's right. Tianyu, you should know what to do, right? Chu Tianyu's face shows a struggling expression. But Miss June saved my life. How can I repay kindness with enmity? Hee, does the heir not know that Jun Mayan is a demon? Everyone has the right to punish her. If you hand him over, it will be called putting righteousness before family. Everyone in the world will be grateful to you. Who will blame you for being ungrateful? Su Qingquan also took a step forward, his eyes shining as he looked at the chaotic tower that pierced through the clouds. Suppressing the surge in his voice, he says, What's more, we only want to capture Jun Mayan and clearly investigate whether or not she's a demon. If she's really innocent, then what you're doing is proving her innocence. She'll be grateful to you, so why would she blame you? Chu Tianyu's expression became more and more hesitant as he listened to everyone's persuasion. From time to time, he would glance at Mayan. The pale girl's aura was weak, as if she didn't know what was happening outside. God bless you. Chu Xinyan once again raised his voice, his tone somber and sinister. You'd better think clearly. Is your mother's life more important, or is Jun Mayan's life more important? As he spoke, he released the pressure from his body. It could be said that Chu Tianyu had grown up under the tyranny of Chu Xinyan. He knew all too well how to destroy his son's psychological defenses. Sure enough, under Chu Xinyan's threat, Chu Tianyu's knees soften, and he almost kneels down. His voice is full of fear and pleading. Father, please calm your anger. How could this child dare to disobey father's orders? Please, please wait. This child will take Jun Mayan and leave the chaotic tower. Saying that, he turns around and walks towards Mayan. Chapter 29:35. Saying that, he turned and walked towards Mu Yan. Chu Xinyan smiled in satisfaction and said, "Good, this is my Chu Xinyan's obedient son. Seeing that you are so obedient, I will let you die a little more quickly." Seeing that Chu Tianyu was really walking towards Mu Yin step by step, the Liangshan great army and beautiful city army below were angry and anxious. "Chu Tianyu, if you dare to hurt a hair of great God Yi, I will fight with you." "Chu Tianyu, you are Fuchin, right? Great God Yi trusted you so much that she let you manage the #1 shop in the world. Is this how you repay her?" Knowing that Mu Yin was Yi Liangshan, it was very easy to guess the true identity of Fuchin, and during this period of time, the Liangshan Great Army and the #1 shop in the world were almost all managed by Fuchin. Fuchin's strong management ability, quick thinking, and loyal attitude towards Yi Liangshan had obtained the unanimous praise of the Liangshan Great Army. Many people had already regarded him as the unique leader of the Liangshan Great Army. But today, this leader was going to do something that betrayed their idol. How could the Liangshan Great Army endure this? Some people were so angry that they had already forgotten that they could not approach the chaotic tower without permission. They desperately soared into the sky, wanting to stop Chu Tianyu. However, before they could get close to the chaotic tower, Chu Xinyan coldly snorted and suddenly released the pressure of the tribulation stage. These cultivators that flew into the sky were at most nascent soul stage. How could they withstand the pressure of a tribulation cultivator? Each of them could not even make a sound before they vomited blood and fell from the sky. Chu Xinyan's confidant shouted angrily, "Are you all crazy? Do you want to go against the north-ranking marquis residents? Even if you don't want your own head, are you not afraid of implicating your sect and family?" As soon as these words came out, the cultivators below all changed their expressions. No matter how angry and worried they were, they did not dare to step forward. Miaoyu chuckled and said, "What Liangshan Great Army, beautiful city army, they're just a group of mobs joining in the fun. Now that things have come to this, don't we still have to go our separate ways?" Could it be that Jun Mayan really thinks that at this critical moment of life and death, these people would really risk their lives for her? He. Chu Tianyu presses his hand on Mayan's shoulder and says in a low voice, "Jun Mayan, don't blame me. I also have no other way out. Now, please come with me." Mu Yin suddenly opens her eyes and looks at Chu Tianyu in shock. She opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but her face alternated between red and white, and not a single sound came out. Chu Tianyu gently hooks up his lips, his voice soft and slow. "Jun Mayan, don't struggle anymore. You don't have the slightest bit of spiritual power now. You simply don't have the power to resist. I advise you to obediently follow me back to North Dinghome Manor, outside the chaotic tower." Chu Xinyan revealed a satisfied and anxious expression. He was just waiting for Chu Tianyu to bring them out. From then on, the chaotic pagoda and 6 Stars Pagoda would be his. However, no one noticed that Chu Tianyu's face was getting paler and paler. His originally youthful and handsome face was slowly aging, and fine lines were creeping up his face. The black hair on his temples was dyed white at a speed visible to the naked eye. Mu Yan's whole body trembled, her expression anxious. She desperately wanted to stop him, but because her body was too weak, she was unable to move. Chu Tianyu lowered his eyes to look at her. There seemed to be a sparkling and translucent light flickering in them. Chapter 29:36. Don't worry, as long as you're obedient, everything will get better. Chu Tianyu's voice grew weaker and weaker. Miaoyu suddenly felt that something was wrong. He went around to take a look, and his expression immediately changed. Not good. Marquis, he's transferring Jun Mayan's soul essence. An origin soul was formed by the condensation of one's essence blood and divine soul. Without a source spirit, it was equivalent to the aging of one's bones, the loss of one's lifespan, and the loss of one's talent. It could be said that no one would easily transfer their soul to someone else. In fact, an origin soul was not something that could be easily given away. Mu Yan is a Shun musician and can do it through the benevolence of the saint. Di Ming Shui's cultivation had reached the transforming strength stage, which could be realized through the void spirit ring. As for the ordinary cultivators of the cultivation continent, even if they were willing to give up their own lives in exchange for the lives of others, it would still be difficult for them to do so. However, Chu Tianyu was different. From a moment he entered the Jidan stage, his source spirit was continuously taken away by Chu Xinyan. Then he would spend a long time enduring all kinds of torment and pain to make up for it bit by bit. He wasn't a doctor, and he didn't have the ability to channel his god power into the void spirit ring. However, the daily torture allowed him to feel the existence of the primordial spirit in his body. As long as he could sense it, he could forcibly withdraw it. And the price of forcefully withdrawing was a bone-piercing pain, as well as the rapid and irremediable decline of his body. Chu Xinyan immediately rushed over to take a look and immediately roared in anger. "Little bastard, how dare you trick me?" With a swing of the sword, lightning crackled as it smashed against the chaotic tower. Everyone thought that this attack would be easily deflected by the barrier of the chaotic tower. Unexpectedly, there was a loud bang. The barrier actually exploded, and even the chaotic pagoda shook from the impact. Jun Mayan and Chu Tanyu, who were at the top of the tower, were swept by the sword light and almost fell down. What's going on? What about the defensive barrier of the chaotic tower? Wouldn't the people who approached the chaotic tower be crushed into dregs? Chu Xinyan was also stunned. Even the anger of wanting to kill Chu Tianyu was thrown to the back of his mind. What the hell is going on? Jing Tianyi frowned as if he was thinking about something. Suddenly, his complexion changed greatly, and he anxiously shouted, Quickly stop Mayan, quickly kill her. She wants to control the chaotic tower to escape." Control the chaotic pagoda to escape? How is this possible? Before the Lord of Six Stars had appeared, the chaotic tower had remained hidden in the sky above Dragon's Soar. After recognizing him as its master, it landed in the divine statue city. Chu Xinyan had thought of 10,000 ways to uproot the chaotic pagoda and take it for himself. He even ordered people to dig from the ground, wanting to dig away the entire foundation of the chaotic tower. In the end, he discovered that the foundation of the chaotic tower was connected to the god-refining precipice. Trying to pry it open was no different from daydreaming. Even if Jun Mayan was the owner of the chaotic tower, how could she move the god-refining precipice? But what about the previous Six Stars pagoda? Before Yap Liang Chun appeared, who would have thought that the Six Stars Tower, which had been standing for thousands of years, would recognize its master? Who would have thought that the Six Stars Pagoda could be taken away by someone? The minds of Chu Xinyan and the others were churning, but their hands were not slow at all. The moment Jing Tianyi shouted, Chu Xinyan had already rushed towards Mayan. "Want to run? Let's see if you can escape from the palms of this marquis." Mayan took a deep breath and pushed Chu Tianyu away. Gritting her teeth, she said, "I'll deal with you in a while. Go back to the tower immediately." Chapter 29:37. As she speaks, Mayan has already taken out the Tian Mo Qin. Right now, she still doesn't have the slightest bit of spiritual power in her Dantian. She can only manipulate the Tian Mo Qin with internal force. The power that internal force can exert from the Tian Mo Qin is less than 1/10 of the spiritual force. But she doesn't care about it. With Mayan's current cultivation, the chaotic tower can only accommodate less than 1,000 cultivators. But she has stuffed tens of thousands of people and tens of thousands of living corpses inside. It can be said that the chaotic tower is consuming the life of its master, Mayan, every moment. And she still has to manipulate the chaotic tower to escape. If Chu Tianyu had not given his soul essence to her, she would have already fallen. Ju Mayan, a hand suddenly presses on her shoulder. Mayan turns to look and sees Chu Tinyo's slightly aged face smiling at her. The cracked lips open and close, spitting out soft, hoarse words. June Mayan, I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. Also, thank you. Thank you for letting me meet you in this life, letting my hopeless hell-like life be rejuvenated. I, Chu Tianyu, spent the first half of my life muddle-headed, like a nightmare. The second half of my life is so fortunate to be able to live for you, to die for you. Mayan is startled. Chu Tianyu, you still haven't entered. Before she could finish speaking, she has already been forcefully pushed through the window into the chaotic tower. What follows is a large amount of soul once again pouring into her body. The dried-up dantian seems to be moisturized by the sweet rain. The silent chaotic tower began to absorb energy from her, its owner, and began to faithfully execute the orders she had given it. Mayan's face doesn't have the least bit of joy. She pushes away the person supporting her and suddenly throws herself to the window. She sees that the grizzled man in the sky pouncing towards Chu Xinyan, tightly hugging him. Thick purple lightning descends from the sky, striking his body. In the lightning, Mayan can only see Chu Xinyan's fierce and angry face. And when Chu Tianyu turns his head, his lips curl up into a warm smile. If only he wasn't born in the Dingwa manor and had done so many wrong things, how good would that be? If only, from the beginning, he had been an ordinary student of long tongue. How good would that be? However, there are no ifs in this life, but it's enough to fulfill one's wishes and die without regrets. Chu Tianyu. Mu Yin wanted to rush out of the chaotic tower, but the entire tower shook violently. No, not the entire wizard tower. The entire divine statue city, and even the entire purple cloud world, shook violently. The towering chaotic tower slowly rose into the sky. Originally, there was no wind or cloud in the clear sky, but suddenly there was a gust of wind. The cultivators standing on the ground were blown away by the wind. Even the buildings that had stood for thousands of years in the statue of God City were shaking nonstop. Everyone raised their heads in shock and looked toward the eastern sky. There was a translucent wall of airflow there, which was called the God-refining precipice. It was this God-refining precipice that separated the purple cloud domain from the azure-blue domain, green cloud domain, and min-lu domain. It allowed the cultivators of the purple cloud realm to enjoy the unique vital energy of heaven and earth. Thus, he stood at the peak of the four realms, and no one could shake him. But at this moment, this wall of air seemed to be pulled by something and shook violently. Then, several cracks gradually appeared on the wall of air currents, becoming deeper and wider. Rip! Everyone's ears seemed to hear the sound of something being torn apart. The God-refining precipice that traversed the entire Xiojin continent was forcibly torn open. The rich spiritual energy that originally belonged to the purple cloud realm, as if it was swallowed by a whirlpool, crazily rushing towards the neighboring azure wave realm. Chapter 2938. Chu Xinyan flings away the dying Chu Tianyu, his face full of shock and anger. How is this possible? How could the God refinement precipice be broken? This is absolutely impossible. Chaotic Tower. June Mayan, return my chaotic tower to me. Chu Xinyan roars. Two blood-red banners appear in his hands, and he throws them in the direction of the chaotic tower. As soon as the banners appear, the raging wind is dyed with a strong stench of blood. A sinister aura, like that of hell, pervades below, causing people to tremble from the depths of their souls. However, before the banners can touch the chaotic tower, a door of light appears in the sky, directly sweeping the chaotic tower inside. The raging wind slowly stops. The sky is restored to the clear blue sky without wind or clouds. However, looking towards the east, the translucent wall of air that traverses the entire Xiojin continent has disappeared without a trace. God Refinement Precipice. God Refinement Precipice is gone. The spiritual energy around us has decreased by a lot. How could this be? On the Divine Elephant City's plaza, many people have already gathered. These people are mostly the heads, patriarchs, and elders of large sects and families. They look at the God refinement precipice that has already disappeared. Each and every one of their faces is so ugly that it could drip water. The disappearance of the God refinement precipice means that the Ziyun realm will gradually lose its unique position. On the contrary, all the cultivators and spiritual beasts of the three realms, Kanglin realm, Azure Cloud realm, and Min Lu realm, will receive the nourishment of boundless spiritual energy and grow at a high speed. These large sects and families are all settled in the Ziyun realm. They have long been used to the days of being high and mighty, looking down on the other three realms. Now that the God refinement precipice has disappeared, their sense of superiority will also gradually disappear. How can they endure this? What is going on? How could the God refinement precipice disappear? North placating Marquis, Sect Master Meow, what happened here just now? Chu Xinyan tightly grips the banners in his hands, his expression sinister, and the veins on his hands bulging. Meow Yu's eyes turn, and he sighs. It was Jun Mayan who destroyed the God refinement precipice. What? The devil cultivator that was recently chased by the North? How is this possible? Even if she's a fiendish cultivator, she's merely a little lass in her early 20s. How can she destroy the God refinement precipice? Meow Yu said, "You might not know this, but Mayan isn't just Mayan. She's the Lord of 6 Stars, the Medicine King's successor, Yi Liangchun. I'm sure all of you are aware that Yi Liangchun is the owner of the Chaotic Tower. Just now, she was unhappy that we labeled her as an evil demon and actually controlled the Chaotic Pagoda to directly destroy the God refinement precipice and escaped. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Jun Mayan is Yap Liangchun? How is this possible? Preposterous. Evil demons are evil demons indeed. To actually do such a heartless thing. These 7 little bastards have turned the entire purple cloud world upside down in this 1 year. And now, they even dare to destroy the God refinement precipice. They're clearly looking down on the cultivators of our purple cloud realm. Chu Xinyan slowly swallowed the anger in his heart. Only then did he raise his head, look at everyone present, and say in a clear voice, "Everyone, please listen to this marquee words. The unfettered 7 devils are perverse, vicious, and extremely evil. They indiscriminately kill the innocent and have long committed numerous crimes in our purple cloud realm. Now, they even destroyed the God refinement precipice, putting us purple cloud realm cultivators in an abyss of suffering, especially that demoness Jun Mayan. She has the supreme divine weapons, the 6 Stars Pagoda and the Chaotic Pagoda. That zither can even control the corpse puppets, killing thousands of people invisibly." Chapter 2939. Remember Love Net in 1 second, providing you with interesting reading. Even this marquee, young Master Juming, Headmaster Jing, so many cultivators working together could not get rid of her. One Jun Mayan is already so difficult to deal with. What if the other 6 demons are added in? What if she controls even more corpses and tames even more subordinates? At that time, would there still be a place for us cultivators of the purple cloud realm? If this kind of demon is not killed, how can there be peace in the world? How can we cultivate in peace and ascend? Chu Xinyan's words caused everyone's expressions to change, finding it difficult to calm down. Xuen Minglang cupped his hands. "Marquis, it's not that we don't want to kill the demon. It's just that this Jun Mayan has controlled the Chaotic Tower to escape. Where can we find her? Even if we find her, I'm afraid we won't be able to break the shackles of the Chaotic Tower." Su Qingquan said, "I don't know what the Marquis thinks. As long as the Marquis can help us kill the demon and take revenge, we are naturally willing to unite and listen to the Marquis's orders." Chu Xinyan slightly lowered his eyes, hiding the sinister scheming in them. This marquee suggests that we establish the Demon Extermination Alliance. We will gather all the forces of the Purple Cloud Realm and vow to eradicate the unfettered 7 demons, returning peace to the cultivation continent. This is a good idea. The sects of the Purple Cloud Realm have stood for thousands of years. How can we allow a few bastards to trample and humiliate us? We must establish the Demon Extermination Alliance. Meow, you chuckled. I think the Marquis should be the leader of the Demon Extermination Alliance. Dingwall Marquis's cultivation is top-notch, and he is a person of virtue and prestige. It would be best for Dingbei Marquis to be the leader. I feel that young Master Jueming is the best candidate. All these years, young Master Jueming has been running around to kill the demon. Chu Xinyan's eyes flashed. He smiled and walked in front of Ning Su. He cupped his hands. Although this Marquis is a few years older, in terms of cultivation and experience, I do not dare to be compared to young Master Jueming. The position of the Demon Extermination Alliance's leader belongs to young Master Jueming. Ning Su looked at him coldly, his eyes filled with disgust. You think I don't recognize the Blood Soul banner in your hand? Only Chu Xinyan and Jing Tianyi, who was standing beside Ning Su, heard these words. Jing Tianyi was startled and looked at Chu Xinyan in astonishment. The Blood Soul banner, as the name suggested, was a banner that was slowly nourished by the blood and souls of living people. After years of nourishment, the grade of the Blood Soul banner would become higher and higher. In the end, its power would even far surpass that of ordinary divine weapons. As for the 2 banners that Chu Xinyan had just thrown out to attack the Chaotic Tower, the moment they appeared, a bloody stench surged out, and a ghostly chi filled the air. If he wanted to nourish it, he would have to absorb millions of souls. Such a thing, of course, was a demonic creature. And what kind of Tao did Chu Xinyan, who used a demonic item like the Blood Soul banner, cultivate? In addition to what Chu Tianyu had said before, Chu Xinyan had absorbed the soul of his own children to extend his lifespan. Ning Su's hand was pressed against the demon-slaying sword, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Depraved beasts like you, who cultivate the path of demons, deserve it. Die. Chu Xinyan's expression changed greatly, and he hurriedly tried to retreat. However, the pressure emanating from Ning Su's body was too terrifying. He couldn't even move a single step. Cold sweat dripped down from his forehead. Chu Xinyan suppressed the grievance and fear in his heart. He lowered his voice and said, Young Master Jueming, if you kill this hoe at this time, wouldn't you be letting Mayan live freely? You and I have the same goal now. Keep this hoe alive. This hoe will definitely let you kill June Mayan with your own hands to vent the hatred in your heart. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 2940. 1 second. Remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. Ning Su's fingers trembled, but he quickly pulled out the demon-slaying sword. Chu Xinyan was greatly shocked and was about to resist regardless of everything. Jing Tianyi suddenly reached out to stop Ning Su, saying softly, Ningongzi, don't be impatient. You can kill the other demonic cultivators whenever you want, but right now, we need North Placating Marquis to lend us a hand. Ning Su frowned, clearly disapproving, but his movements eventually stopped. Chu Xinyan let out a long sigh of relief, cold sweat rolling down his forehead. He looked at Jing Tianyi gratefully. Jing Tianyi smiled and continued. This old man knows that Ningongzi is very powerful and doesn't need the help of others. But June Mayan is too sinister and cunning, and her methods are endless. Even Gongzi was almost seriously injured by her. What's more, Ningongzi, you might as well think about it. How long has it been since the Xiao Yao 7 shocked the world? But their strength has already advanced by leaps and bounds. If we give them more time to grow, or that young Master Yin Xiao, who protects the Xiao Yao sect, comes back, can we really kill them? Ning Su's pupils suddenly shrank. The humiliation, resentment, unwillingness, and madness in his eyes surged like stormy waves. He remembered the time when he fought with Luo Yunxiao, and how he couldn't do anything to her even after using all his strength. He also remembered the talisman that Mayan took out, which he couldn't resist. Although he didn't want to admit it, he clearly realized that Jun Mayan had Luo Yunxiao by her side, as well as a mysterious person that he hadn't even seen. He wasn't a match for either of them. If he couldn't kill the Xiao Yao 7 demons as soon as possible, he could only watch helplessly as Jun Mayan abandoned him. Just like back then. No, he was no longer the Ning Su from back then. If he had to watch Jun Mayan fall into the demonic path and abandon him, he would rather take his head with his own hands. Swish! The demon-slaying sword returned to its sheath. Ning Su looked at Chu Xinyan with cold eyes. You better find Jun Mayan as soon as possible. Otherwise, I will let you know that under my demon-slaying sword, all demonic cultivators will never be able to reincarnate. Saying that, Ning Su turned and flew away. Chu Xinyan was pressured by the pressure. His knees went soft, and he almost knelt down. Only after Jing Tianyi supported him did he manage to stand up. Chu Xinyan withdrew the violence and hatred in his eyes. He cupped his hands at Jing Tianyi and said, "Many thanks to Sect Master Jing for saving my life." Jing Tianyi chuckled and said, "Marquis, you're too polite." The unfettered 7 devils were personally exposed by the Muddy Moon Pavilion. Killing the 7 demons and taking back the inheritance and the divine weapon of the Muddy Moon Pavilion is also what the Muddy Moon Pavilion desires the most. The Marquis has proposed to establish the Demon Extermination Alliance. I would like to contribute as well. Chu Xinyan's pupils constricted as he suddenly understood Jing Tianyi's intention. Jing Tianyi wanted the position of the Alliance Master of the Devil-Slaying Alliance. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that the Demon Extermination Alliance was only here to kill the unfettered 7 demons on the surface. But in reality, whoever became the leader of the Alliance would have control over all the major sects in the Purple Cloud Realm. From then on, he was high and mighty, and his authority was monstrous. The Bathing Moon Pavilion might seem like a humble abode in the northern continent, indifferent to fame and fortune. He didn't expect him to be so ambitious. Chu Xinyan proposed to establish the Demon Extermination Alliance because he wanted to stand at the peak of power. How could he be willing to be intercepted by Jing Tianyi? But Jing Tianyi seemed to have seen through Chu Tianyou's thoughts and chuckled. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the Zii website. Chapter 2941. 1 second remember LoveNet to provide you with exciting reading. Since the main purpose of the Demon Slaying Alliance is to kill demons, we must thoroughly investigate it. If there are scum of the demon path in the Alliance, it won't be good. Marquis, don't you think so? Chu Xinyan's face alternated between green and white. In the end, he could only grit his teeth and say, Headmaster Jing is of noble character and unquestionable integrity. The position of the leader of the Demon-Slaying Alliance must belong to you. The chaotic pagoda smashed onto the peak of the Heavenly Phoenix mountain range. Everyone in the pagoda was in a daze because of the violent tremors, and it took them a long time to recover. One by one, they rushed to the window and looked out. This is the peak of the Heavenly Phoenix mountain range. Rarely do people set foot here. Did we just escape? Sob, 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 I thought I was dead this time. Chu Xinyan is really a fucking piece of trash. I also thought that Long Tongue wouldn't be able to escape this time. I was already prepared to die. I didn't think that great God Juno, great God, you would actually come to save us. Isn't the most unbelievable thing that Yap Liangshan and Junmayan are the same person? When I entered the chaotic tower unscathed, I was completely dumbfounded. Having escaped from death, the teachers and students of the Soaring Dragon Academy came before Mu Yin and bowed. Thank you, great God Jun, for saving our lives. We are willing to follow you to the end of our lives and repay you with our broken bones. The villagers of Yuanwu village and Lin Xiaomin's family also knelt down. Even the living corpses hidden in the black fog rushed out, howling, and then ran back. They seemed to be kneeling, but also seemed to be roaring along. Their shouts reverberated throughout the entire chaotic tower. Their blood was boiling, and they were impassioned. But these voices seemed to be very, very far away, dissipating in his ears. Muyin looks out the window, lost in thought. Kong Yuanzhou's eyes were red as he stepped forward and bowed deeply. "Thank you, Miss June, for saving my life. You don't have to be too sad. Tian Yu was just trying to be benevolent. He made a sacrifice, so he definitely doesn't want Miss June to feel sad for him. Miss June, Miss June." Kong Yuanzhou's voice suddenly rose, startling everyone. Muyan's body swayed and slowly fell down. Sun Yunzhou hurriedly steps forward, wanting to support her, but before he can touch Muyan, a hand reached out from the side and took over his action. Yin Ruhan. The first person to support Muyan was Yin Ruhan, the eldest disciple of the Xiaoyao school. He woke up from his deep sleep, still in a daze. Just now, he caught a glimpse of Muyan from the corner of his eye and instinctively rushed over to support his little junior sister. However, what he felt was a bone-chilling coldness. Little junior sister, Yin Ruhan looked down in a daze. The girl in his arms had a pale complexion and was riddled with scars. Her dress had long been dyed red with blood. His hand, which was supposed to be as white as jade and able to hold the sword like the wind, was now completely broken and hung powerlessly by his side. Yin Ruhan considered herself a calm and steady person, but when she saw this scene, her eyes instantly reddened. "Little junior sister, who injured you like this?" As he spoke, Chu Moli, Lung Yumao, Ling Yuxing, and Lan Liu, who were on the ground, also woke up. Looking at the unconscious Mayan, he felt his anger rush to the top, almost losing his mind. Lung Yumao pulled Wen Huanglong's collar and said sternly, "Speak. What happened after the battle outside the unclean abyss? Who in the world injured my junior sister to this extent?" Wen Huanglang didn't dare to delay and hurriedly recounted everything that happened during this period of time. After listening to the narration, the bodies of the 6 people couldn't help but tremble. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii. Chapter 2942. 1 second. Remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. How could they have thought that in the time they were unconscious from exhaustion, little junior sister had already experienced so many disasters? Ning Su, Jing Tianyi, Chu Xinyan, and that sanctimonious cultivator from the Ziyun world. They've really gone too far. Wen Huanglang wiped his tears and said, "Fortunately, you all woke up safely. These 2 days, Miss June has been very worried, fearing that you would suffer irreversible injuries." Lung Yumao took the unconscious Mayan from Yun Ruhan's hands, feeling the coldness in her hands and the sticky bloodstains on her dress. The rims of her eyes reddened. Why haven't we woken up yet? How could they only wake up now? They actually let little junior sister bear so much by herself. Chu Moli gently stroked his knee, suddenly saying in a hoarse voice, "Little junior sister treated me." Wen Huanglang nodded. Miss June said that the others were just exhausted. Even if she didn't treat them, they would recover on their own. But Chu Gongzi and Lan Gongzi, you used a power that shouldn't belong to the Xiozhen continent. The backlash you received was several times that of the others. If you weren't treated, I'm afraid your lives would be in danger. So, even if Miss June had already overdrawn her spiritual power, and there were countless pursuers behind her, she was still on the 7-colored cloud carpet. As when Huanglang spoke, he couldn't help but choke. His feelings for Mayan were different from the others present. In his heart, he regarded Jun Shiyuan as his benefactor and master. Jun Mayan was Jun Shiyuan's daughter, so she was naturally his little master. At that time, on the 7-colored cloud carpet, Mayan's complexion was deathly pale, her body cold and swaying, but she still insisted on treating Chu Moli and Lan Liu. His heart was filled with worry. Later, during the Battle of Long Tong, the chaotic tower recognized its master. when Huangling watched as Mayan's aura grew weaker and weaker. The kind of despair was the same as when he saw Jun Shiyuan and Ning Yanxin being forced apart, Mr. Jun being hunted down, and he was of no use other than holding him back. Chu Moli's hand on his knee suddenly tightened. That perpetually gentle and refined face became malevolent and distorted in an instant. Who told you to save? Jun Mayan. Who told you to go this far? However, his voice was very, very low. Apart from himself, no one could hear him. When Luo Yu heard when Huanglong's words, tears streamed down her face. He stretched out his trembling hand, but he didn't even dare to touch it. Yang reversion pill, that's right. Quickly let 6 senior sister take the Yang reversion pill. He tried to take out the Yang return pill from his storage ring in a flurry, but was stopped by Chu Moli. Don't touch her yet. Chu Moli slowly raised his head and said word by word, don't touch her yet. Third senior brother, what's wrong? Why do you look so pale? Do you know what happened to junior sister? Chu Moli closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he had already reverted to that weak and gentle third senior martial brother. I don't know what happened to junior sister, but I have a feeling that junior sister is in danger now. Don't touch her, or else, Tianmo Chin space. Little Phoenix, what to do? What to do? The great devil has been in pain for so many days, but we can't contact the beautiful big sister, and we can't get out of the space. What should we do? Littling chick, gugugugu woo. Mommy, come quickly, and save Big Brother Red Underpants. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii. Chapter 2943. 1 second remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. I don't know what happened to little junior sister, but she's probably in a dangerous situation right now. It might be better for her to stay in a safe and hidden place. As soon as these words come out, the other 5 immediately understand. Only the people of the Xiao Yao sect know that Mayan's zither has a space. The safe and hidden place that Chu Moli mentioned should be little junior sister's Tian Emochin space. But a cultivator's portable space is usually the most private treasure. The contract signed is far higher than that of other spirit tools and divine tools. If you want to manipulate someone else's space, you either need to have a much higher cultivation than that person or have great attainments in refining and arrays. Chu Moli is clearly not good at refining or arrays, but he can actually manipulate little junior sister's space. How'd he do it? Yin Ruhan and the others have doubts in their hearts. But now is not the time to ask, because Chu Moli has already turned around to look at Kong Yuanjiu, Zhou Daoi, and the others. He says unhurriedly, what happened in the Xiojin continent during this period of time? Tell me everything. Don't omit even the simplest things. Kong Yuanjiu, Zhou Daoi, and the other Longting instructors look at each other, somewhat unable to come back to their senses. Chu Moli has always been low-key and taciturn among the Xiao Yao 7, and his reputation is not prominent. But sitting in a wheelchair at this time, his gentle voice actually gives them a terrible sense of oppression. Is this a joke? A young, immature, and sickly youth, not a stunning evildoer like Jun Mayan. How could he oppress these old guys? Luo Yu looks at Chu Moli, also feeling that the current third brother is somewhat unfamiliar. She can't help but ask, Third brother, what are you going to do? Chu Moli slowly hooks up the corners of his lips. His smile seems bashful and gentle, but half of it is hidden in the darkness, while the other half is exposed to the sunlight. It gives people a bone-chilling feeling for no reason. In this world, how can there be no price for hurting my little junior sister? Since they say that we are the Xiao Yao 7 demons, then I have to show them the appearance of evil demons. Hearing this, Luo Yu's eyes immediately brighten. She says excitedly, Third brother, you have an idea to retaliate against them. Hee, no wonder he is the most abnormal third brother in our Xiao Yao school. Lung Yuma loosened her grip on the Red Lotus soul-stealing blade and tightened it again. She laughed sinisterly. Third senior brother, even if you didn't say it, I couldn't help but want to chop these bastards into pieces. But since you have an idea, I have to listen to you. Their third senior brother was someone who would either not make a move, or once he did, he would definitely make people regret living in this world. Qin Jiu thumped his chest. Fight! Avenge! Avenge junior sister! Ling Yuxing looked toward Yin Ruhan and asked carefully, Senior brother won't object if we don't keep a low profile, right? Yin Ruhan glanced at them coldly. What's the purpose of our carefree sect? If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people offend me, I'll pull them up by the roots. He could even bear the thought of being killed as a demon that had seized his body and reincarnated. He could even accept it willingly. But Seven couldn't, and Junior Sister couldn't. Whoever bullied the people of the Xiao Yao school shouldn't blame them for being ruthless and unscrupulous. Chu Moli's lips curled up at the reaction of his fellow disciples. He looked toward Kong Yuanjiu and Zhou Daoi, then tilted his head slightly. His expression was gentle, and his voice was clear. Did you not hear my question clearly? Do I need to repeat myself? Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 2944. 1 second remember love net, providing you with wonderful reading. I heard it clearly. Zhou Daoi wipes the cold sweat on his forehead, narrating while crazily ridiculing in his mind. Sure enough, those who can become Jun Mayan's fellow apprentices are not ordinary people. The carefree 7 demons are really worthy of being the carefree 7 demons, one more abnormal than the other. Tian Mo Chin space. Little Phoenix. What should we do? What should we do? The great devil has been in pain for so many days, but we can't contact the beautiful sister, and we can't get out of the space. What should we do? Little chick. Gugugugawoo. Mommy, come quickly. Come and save Brother Red Underpants. The Tian Mo Chin's space shakes, and Mayan's figure directly appears in the middle of the lawn. Guji. Mommy. Mommy is here. Little Phoenix excitedly flies over. Beautiful sister, that's great. Come and see big, beautiful, beautiful sister. What's wrong with you? When the two come closer, they find that Mayan's condition is not right. Guji, Mommy, what's wrong with you? Mommy, wake up. Little Phoenix, why is there so much blood on beautiful sister? Ooh, beautiful sister, don't die. Goo woo. Mommy's body is so cold. Woo. Mommy, Huang Wang doesn't want Mommy to die. Little Phoenix quickly releases a golden red fireball, surrounding Mayan's body, but not touching her. While crying, he says, Beautiful sister, Chio is using the fire to keep you warm. Don't die. Okay? If you die, little brother will be very sad. Lying on the ground, Mayan seems to hear the voices of the two, and her fingers gently move. A low moan spills out from between her lips and teeth. Guji, Mommy, beautiful sister, you're awake. Great. However, to their disappointment, Mayan doesn't wake up. Her pale, snow-white skin begins to flush. Bean-sized beads of sweat mixed with dark red blood oozed out of his pores in a rush. In just the blink of an eye, the originally beautiful girl is covered in stinking blood, and her original appearance cannot be seen. The painful moans turn into mournful wails. Mayan's whole body curls up in place, her body convulsing. Little Phoenix and Little Chick were scared silly. They could see that inside Mu Yan's body, there was a mass of white light rampaging about. With each collision, Mayan's pain increases by a fraction, and the white light increases in size. As the white light gets bigger and bigger, it seems like Mayan's body is about to burst apart. Woo. What's wrong with you, beautiful sister? Don't scare Chio. The little chick widened its round eyes, and large droplets of tears rolled down its cheeks. Mommy, don't die. Mama can't die. Scram. Suddenly, the two little fellows were kicked by a strong force. When they turn around, they find that Chi Huang has already stood up at some point and is staggering over to Mu Yan's side. Great demon, big brother Chi Huang. Hey, are you all right? No, how could Chi Huang be fine? At this moment, his figure was so faint that it seemed like it was about to dissipate. The fiery red robe wrapped around his slender figure. He was supposed to be bewitching and elegant. But at this time, it seemed like he would dissipate like a raging fire in the wind at any time. Chi Huang glares at little Phoenix and little Chick, hoarsely saying, "Shut up. Of course Shenzun is fine." He bends down to pick up the blood-stained and twitching girl. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii. Chapter 2945. 1 second remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. But because his body has no strength left, his knees go soft, and he suddenly kneels to the ground. Mayan, who he's holding in his arms, also falls down. Jun Mayan. Chi Huang hurriedly rushes over. Jun Mayan, are you hurt? However, at this time, Mayan is completely immersed in the abyss of hellish torment, unable to respond to him. Chi Huang closes his eyes, picks up Mayan again, gathers his strength, and continues to move forward. In the space of the Tian Mo Chin, there's a silver river like falling stars. When Mayan absorbed the spiritual vein in the Yinwu continent, this river originally entered the space. In the Yinwu continent, if one wants to cultivate their spiritual energy, this is the only source of spiritual energy. But after arriving at the Xiozhen continent, the surroundings are full of spiritual energy, and this star river loses its effect. Chi Huang puts Mayan into the star river and carefully uses the water in the star river to wash Mayan's body. The bloodstains are washed away, and the mass of light that is rampaging inside Mayan's body becomes clearer. This mass of time is getting bigger and bigger, almost bursting Mayan's body. Cracks begin to appear on the girl's originally snow-white, delicate, and flawless skin. These cracks are blue, black, and silver-white. They interweave together, forming an extremely strange picture. Stupid woman. Looking at this scene and listening to Mayan's uncontrollable moans of pain, Chi Huang clenches his hands into fists and gnashes his teeth. Aren't humans all cunning and selfish? What do those idiots have to do with you? Why do you risk your life to save them again and again? Ju Mayan, answer me. Little Phoenix flies over, and seeing Mayan's miserable state in the Star River, he can't help but cry. Will pretty sister die? Brother Chi Huang, you're so powerful. Can't you save pretty sister? Chi Huang frowns and puts his hand into the Star River. The next moment, black energy gushes out from his fingers like ink, dyeing the river and wrapping around Mayan. However, without waiting for this black energy to pour into Mayan's body, Chi Huang's figure shakes, and he suddenly falls to the ground. Brother Chi Huang. Goo. Brother Red Pants, what's wrong with you? Chi Huang feels dizzy and gets up from the ground with great difficulty. He wants to release energy again, but he can't do it. He gritted his teeth so hard that blood seeped out from between his lips and teeth, but he didn't notice it at all. Her phoenix eyes were scarlet red, so thick that it seemed as if blood could drip from them. Too weak. Hee, you're really too weak. A low, hoarse, mocking voice rang in his ears. The ancient seal, the separation of the two souls, there's nothing you can do. I can't get what I want. I can't say what I want. There's only endless betrayal. Huh? Don't you want to? The voice resounded in his mind again and again, like a curse, slowly seeping into the depths of his soul. Chi Huang's eyes grew redder. A thick, ink-like black aura emanated from his body. The entire space of the Tian Mo Chin shakes violently. That's right. Ha. Only, can you get everything you want? Little Phoenix and Little Chick were still hugging Chi Huang and crying. At this moment, she was so frightened that she screamed and scrambled to escape far away. However, even though they had already escaped so far away, they still couldn't help but shiver when they sensed the terrifying aura permeating the air. The space of the Tian Mo Chin seems like it's going to collapse. However, at this time, mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii.net. Chapter 2946. 1 second to remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. 7 colored rays of light fly out from the Milky Way, transforming into 7 long swords in the air, heading straight for Qi Huang. Smack! The first red sword swoops down, ruthlessly slapping Qi Huang's buttocks. Qi Huang staggers and directly falls to the ground. The whole person is stupefied, not waiting for him to react. The second sword swoops down again. Smack! 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 7 consecutive swords, one after another, hit Qi Huang's buttocks. From his initial stupor and absent-mindedness to his subsequent anger, it finally turns into a thunderous rage. Jun Mayan, you don't want to live anymore. Qi Huang is flustered and exasperated as he rushes to the side of the Milky Way, raising his hand to grab the girl in the river. Dare to hit Benzun. Dare to hit Benzun. Believe it or not, I'll peel off your skin. At this time, Mayan's whole person is still immersed in the Milky Way. The void spirit ring on her hand unknowingly shines with an icy blue light, wrapping around her whole body, as if it's soothing her body and soul that are already riddled with holes. This is also the reason why Mayan can wake up in the nick of time. But her current state is still very bad. Her skin is mottled with cracks, and bean-sized beads of sweat roll down from her forehead. That ball of light is still rampaging inside her body, and from time to time, a terrible lump would bulge out on her skin. The piercing pain makes her bite her lips until they're dripping with blood to suppress her moans and howls. Seeing Mayan like this, Qi Huang's voice comes to an abrupt halt. His eyes surge with intense pain and self-loathing. Jun Mayan, do you think I'm useless? That I can't do anything but stay in this broken place? That I can't help you with anything? Di Mingju can always descend from the sky at Mayan's most dangerous moment. Even if he can't personally descend, with my spirit, I will save your soul. With my spirit, I will nourish your vitality and also save Mayan from fire and water. Even if it's Luo Yunxiao, that pretty boy that he looks down on, he can always appear when Mayan needs it, support her, and protect her. Only he, accompanied by Mayan's side every day, but couldn't do anything. For tens of thousands of years, he could only be trapped in this tiny space, unable to escape for all eternity. Idiot Qi Xiaowang, Mu Yan's low voice sounded. You also know that you're useless. Even if Qi Huang was still remorseful, he almost flew into a rage when he heard this. Mu Yan chuckles softly. Her line of sight meets Qi Huang's, and she enunciates each word. But this time, only you can help me. Qi Huang, I need you to lend me a hand. Are you willing? Qi Huang was taken aback. What are you going to do? Mu Yan took a deep breath, then said in a low voice, You should know why am I like this now? Countless forces intertwined and collided within her body, as if her body was about to explode. Qi Huang said hatefully, It's all because of you. First, to give those living corpses a chance to reincarnate, you forcefully absorbed a huge amount of demonic energy from the impurities abyss. Then, to let everyone enter the chaotic tower, you forcefully fuse your soul with the chaotic tower. In the end, in order to control the chaotic tower to leave, you tore apart the refining God precipice, and even swallowed a large part of the refining God precipice into your body. These 3 types of energy, an ordinary cultivator would already explode and die if they absorbed one. But what about you? In a short period of time, you forcefully absorbed 3 types of energy, and these 3 types of energy even fused with each other. You couldn't even eliminate them one by one. That you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.